Chickadee, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I'm resisting without violence. You better ask yourself. Glitch. I thought I took this out of the video.
That shouts with force. We choose another course, not with fist, not with fear, but with voices loud and clear. We face the storm, we hold the line with words that cut and hearts that shine. This is where the silence breaks, resisting without violence.
Because law enforcement takes human suffering and turns it into cash. Because first of all, you rarely recover anything. You rarely prevent anything. No, it is true. I'm a police accountability activist for about 20 years now. How many bad cops have you arrested?
Yo, what is up, my honkies? What's up, guys? How you doing, all 10 of you? Let me say hi to everybody before we get this started here. How y'all doing? How's it hanging? How's it flapping? Everything good with you? All right, so Fitzcam, what's up, brother? Buzz, what's up? I got the comments down here in the actual screen overlay. I don't know how it looks on your end, but it looks small on my side. I think it's pretty cool, though. Fitzcam, Buzz, Hawks fan for life, 88. To me, by your username alone, that tells me that you are a Steve Largent fan from back in the 80s, and you're probably my age or older, and you lived in that area. Otherwise, why would you be a Hawks fan for life, even if you've left that area? And that 88 signifies Steve Largent. Tell me if I'm wrong. Hillsborough Highlights, what's up? J-Dub, Six Semper Tyrannis, what's up? John Eagle, what's up? Mr. Denicola, Mr. John Denicola, hope to meet you in North Pensacola. If you don't show up, I will be disappointed, OLED. Hey, Denicola. Illegally Nova, what's up? ANCAP, what's up? Did I miss anyone? All right. Hey, man, there's a few of you here. That's cool. Let's get through these sponsors, and then we'll kick it off. So, sponsor number one is Rockstar Dealing Academy. Do you want to be a poker dealer? Go to rockstardealingacademy.com and tell them John Felix sent you. Next, do you play pool? Do you play league specifically, like APA or BCL? Well, those leagues don't pay anything. Honestly, they don't pay very much, if anything. Most of it's like little patches they give you. Like if you run a table, something I've done a million times, they'll give you a patch. And a lot of the players in those leagues, they'll like collect those patches. Well, I never played league because every time I play pool, it's because I want to get paid. So when I play pool, I enter a tournament for $10, $20, $30, $60, and I play really hard, and every shot means the world, in the hopes that I play so well that I place in the money. Well, league was never like that. Well, now it is. So if you play pool or you know a pool hall, have them email me about America's Billiard League, where every session pays out minimum $25,000. There's going to be 4 sessions the first year starting January, and then the finale pays out $100,000 minimum to the winning team. I believe the finale is going to be in the Bahamas. So if you want to join, create some teams, join America's Billiard League, email me, johnfelix@gmail.com. And what else we got here? And we got my little 501c4 nonprofit. It's moving slow, but we're going to get it popping.
Are you tired of government overreach and eroded freedoms? At tac-us.org, we're fighting back. We're the Transparency Accountability Coalition, a nonprofit defending your constitutional rights. No partisanship, just principle. From protecting free speech to demanding transparency, we're here for you. Visit tac-us.org to learn more and join the movement. tac-us.org, because your rights deserve a voice. Act now. Are you tired of government?
All right, so there's the advertising. Let's get that out of the way. And now I was going to talk about politics, and especially the Epstein files, Donald Trump being homies with Epstein, them passing a bunch of laws that say you can't criticize Israel, and how Israel trains our police. Well, I can't talk about how Israel trains our police, because what you're about to see in this video here is the politics of auditing. Well, these guys weren't even auditors, but what's going on here is auditing and reality in other situations are meshing. Cops still believe that they get to dominate everybody they come across, Israeli style, just like Israelis believe they overwhelming force. By the way, thanks for the guy that sent me this t-shirt. I wear it all the time. It's very comfortable. Usually when someone gives you a free t-shirt at a Clearwater City Council meeting, it's not all that comfortable. But this one's comfortable. So you guys have probably seen this video, at least this situation. I'm gonna use a Random Patriots video for the first portion, and if we're rocking and rolling and I'm feeling good, we'll play the whole court video. So let's go here. You guys think I should cover it like this with my big face, or should I do this, or should I do this one? I think probably that one's the best. What do you guys think? Epstein is a Mossad agent still alive. I believe that 100%, bro. Most likely. He's definitely a Mossad agent, and whether he's still alive, that's questionable. There's a lot of holes in that story, and then Trump backing away from it and all that stuff. Careful now, too much Israel criticism. YouTube will wipe your platform in the blink of an eye. I know. Our own governor here in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis, actually passed a law in Florida that the IHRA, International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, IHRA, they came up with the definition of anti-Semitism. Well, the whole Western world just means people affiliated with America and the West. When they say Western world and Christian Judeo values, it's all propaganda. That's what it is. What they're basically saying is non-Arab, non-Asian countries. When they say Western world, they're talking about non-Arab, non-Asian, non-Russian, the victors of World War II. Did anybody really win World War II? We all lost, let's be honest. Where am I going with this? Anyway, let's watch this Random Patriot video. And I know there's only like 24 of you in here, and thank you so much for joining me, guys. Audit Palooza this year, I'm pretty sure that Bay Area Transparency is going to make it to Audit Palooza this year. I'm pretty sure that Long Island Audit is going to make it to Audit Palooza this year. Leroy Truth Investigations, his crew, Garden State Accountability, and the Exposure Report, both are going to make it. I'm pretty sure that Steve and Taya from Police Accountability Report, aka the Real News Network, are going to be at Audapalooza this year. Audapalooza is going to be better than last year. Last year was great. It could have been better because of first year throwing the thing. And I'll be there probably Thursday, but for sure Friday. So if anybody wants to come to Audapalooza, email me, John, F-I-L-A-X, @gmail.com. I know I have some emails to catch up with too. So let's get this going. And it's so flattering, dude, because Bay Area Transparency emails me back and he says, the first thing he says is something like, the legend himself, John Felix. And I really get goosebumps, man, because I don't see myself as a legend, but you see me as a legend, man. I am so honored. I'm honored that Bay Area Transparency considers me a legend. Let's see here. I invited him to Autopalooza and he says, the legend himself, Mr. Felix, exclamation, exclamation. What's good, John? I appreciate you reaching out in the past video. I had seen you do all my work. Is this the first time you've done this? Anyway, I will say I would like to try to join you, make it as long as it doesn't conflict with stuff he does with his family. And then I told him the date, and he said he's probably going to go. So, Bay Area Transparency, I am so excited to meet Bay Area Transparency. I'm so excited to meet Steve and Taya from the Police Accountability Report. I'm excited that it was an awesome meeting. I just got to meet Long Island Audit. I went up to New Jersey, and then I got to drive Garden State Accountability's Volkswagen R from Jersey all the way to Groton, Connecticut, 6-speed, souped up. It was such a good time. It was such a action-packed 2 days. Leroy has like this system he does where we went from Bayonne to Jersey City to Union City. We did this thing. We did the other thing. It was just insane. And from what I understand, that whole area there is a Zionist hotbed. So if you really want to get in some trouble up where Leroy and them are pounding the pavement, you could cover the Zionist angle of all the politics there because there is one. As a matter of fact, Leroy told me that they were having a 70-some-year celebration of independence for Israel at one of their government buildings. And someone from the Jersey Inquisitor, Jersey something, wanted to cover it. Well, the head of media relations for that city said, you're not allowed to cover this or publish it on any of your social media because nothing Israel hates more than exposure. They've been controlling the narrative through so many different channels in America for so long that the internet now is waking up to who they are, and all these come-latelys, Johnny come-latelys, Candace come-latelys, Tucker come-latelys, all these dissidents, Jimmy Dores, like they're talking about stuff I was talking about 20 years ago, and I was being called names for saying things about 9/11, Israel, JFK, Oklahoma City bombing, on and on. I was just a conspiracy theorist. Now people are making millions of dollars saying the things that I was screaming at my friends' parents in the 90s. So, yeah. So let's watch this hearing with Random Patriot covered this video, and I want to show you the contrast also, because if you look here and you go to this, just the difference between this. I wonder if I could bring it up in a different window. Let's go. So here's the dishonor. Here's the trial. Okay. Open link in a new tab. Okay. Yeah. There we go. So let's go. This is the court hearing without any Random Patriot stuff. And I watched both of them, and they're great. And this judge made me happy, and he made me mad. But let's watch Random Patriots version first. Scroll some cigarettes. Oh, boy. That's not what I wanted to do. Scroll until you scroll yourself to death. I want to share this tab instead, and I want to make it big. Trying to control your own stuff on StreamYard's what you think. Liberty Troll, you're the legend, bro. Liberty Troll is off probation and back on the streets. And Liberty Troll went on Dr. Dave, which I never even heard of Dr. Dave, but I guess he's one of the haters of freedom. He's a freedom hater. All those people that use the word, people who use the word conspiracy theorist, frauditor, anti-Semite, sovereign citizen, those, every time you hear those words, just know you're speaking to somebody who hates freedom and loves controlling other people. Racist, conspiracy theorist, frauditor, what else do they call us? soft sit. Those are all buzzwords because they don't have an argument. They could never debate you on the facts of the matter. So what they do is they label you with those things and demonize you because they're anti-freedom. They're anti-freedom. And that's everything this movement comes down to is freedom versus not people who hate freedom. You're either for freedom and you believe in freedom, or you don't. You know what I mean? So, and there's different, don't get me wrong, there's different variations. Like, there's certain things where, like, you just can't have free reign. Again, I'll tell you guys, and I know I keep saying this and repeating this over and over, and I hope I'm not boring you guys, but if there's no victim, there's no damages, there's no trespass, and there's no articulable endangerment to the public, then you should be a free American and be able to freely move about, travel, unmolested from state to state in this beautiful, free, constitutional republic. That's the baseline. If everybody started there, whether it's a cop, a firefighter, an EMT, a politician, a judge, if everyone started right there at that baseline, no victim, no damages, no endangerment, no trespass, those four things. If everyone started with that baseline and that mentality, we could have a free country again. If we started a party, a Constitution party, freedom party, whatever the party may be, that should be our platform. No victim, no damages, no trespass, no endangerment. That's basically, to me, that's what the Constitution is. If you're not doing one of those four things, you should be a free person. All right, so old school freedom, hate him, that's the worst kind. All right, so back to the matter at hand, okay? These two guys were working. Their father owns a couple buildings or leases a couple buildings, and they work on cars. And they work on cars at night. Like, they're literally doing nothing wrong, these guys. And then you have a cop who just drives around this area, patrols this area, this cop right here, this disgusting pig right here. And he saw two guys, and in his mind, he needs to be a hero, and he needs to control those guys. He needs to put his own life in danger to approach them at night. He uses all these excuses. It's at nighttime. He uses the most flimsy garbage hunch to impede these guys' freedom. Again, now, if I was this cop and we had the freedom and he had the freedom mentality, he would say, have these guys victimized anybody? I don't know. It could be a stolen car. That's going to be his argument. Okay. So they might have stolen somebody's car. Okay. Why do I think that? You're going to hear the reasons he says why he thinks it might be a stolen car. Okay. So is there a victim? Possibly. Okay. So you can go up and speak to them. Okay, no problem. Is there any damages? No. Is there any trespass? Not that you know of. Right? You don't know. And then is there any endangerment? They definitely were not endangering anybody. So the only thing he has is, did they possibly victimize somebody by stealing a car? That's all he has. And he believes in his cop brain, Israeli army trained cop brain, that they might have stolen the car, even though he has zero evidence of that in his Israeli trained army cop brain, that he gets to go impede their freedom. That's enough for him to impede somebody's freedom. Is it though? How about you stand back, you watch, see where they go. You watch and see what they're carrying. Instead, the thing is, what cops do is they immediately insert themselves somewhere. And then if you don't cooperate with their BS, now you're the problem. And again, that's the RAPIST mentality. I'm the aggressor, the RAPIST. You have to do what I say because I'm the aggressor and I can overpower you with monopoly on force and violence that the government has given me. And if you do anything to defend yourself from my disgusting aggression against you, then you're at fault. A Long Island audit. He was doing something perfectly legal. He wasn't trespassing. You're allowed to knock on people's doors. Investigative journalists do it all the time. What happened? The RAPIST mentality thug, Brian Faggy, comes out of his house with a gun, closes the distance, and then pretends like he's the victim. All right, you guys tired about me running my mouth? You ready to watch this? He has nothing, absolutely nothing. Check into the International Police Union Association, and why would there be an International Police Union Association? Good question. Let me ask my new homie here. What is the International Police Union Association? Tell me now. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Oh, okay, International Union of Police. What is it? North American Labor Union chartered through the AFL-CIO that specifically represents active duty and retired law enforcement personnel, including support staff headquartered in Sarasota, Florida. Founded originally formed in the National Conference of Police Associations, NCPA, in 1954, it evolved over time, becoming the International Union of Police Associations in 1979 when it received its AFL-CIO charter. Mission and services aims to advocate for better wages, benefits, equipment, working conditions for members. Criticism has faced scrutiny for low percentages of charity distributed funds and high spending on fundraising tactics and executive compensation. It has received failing F rating from the Better Business Bureau. Oh, all right. Thanks, man. You taught me something. International Police Association. What is it? Global non-governmental friendship and professional organization, not a union. So are you talking about IPA? Or are you talking about IPA or International Union of Police Associations? The IUPA or the IPA? Open to both serving and retired police, founded in 1950 in the United Kingdom by Arthur Troop. Purpose instruction promotes international friendship, culture exchange, peace, professional development, and mutual understanding among police personnel across boundaries. As of early 2025, it's the largest police association in the world with around 380,000 members in nearly 100 countries. Sounds like you're talking about that one. Let's see here. Are we ever going to go to this video? Hope you guys got time. If you're referring to an organization that functions as a union advocating collectively for police labor rights and benefits in North America, you're probably thinking of International Union of Police Associations. That's the one we read first. Do you like help comparing the two? So which one are you talking about, dude? Started by the British, okay. Ozzy was a sacrifice for something big, in my humble opinion. Okay, Ozzy, huh? God, I loved Ozzy when I was growing up. I went to see him, and I thought it was going to be like the last concert he ever did. I'm like, God, Ozzy's so old. And that was like 25 years ago. Oh, boy. International Police Union guy, James Freeman, live the other day. Self-funded. In summary, IPA, International Police Association. What are some negative things people say about the International Police Association? Stand by. Tyrant Auditor, what's up? George Daly, how you doing? Low Dimes, how are you? Tony Sweet, the most famous dog walker in the world. What's up, brother? I saw you follow me on Instagram. I just now started looking at Instagram. Limited criticisms found. Based on available reputable sources, there's very little public criticism specifically targeted at the IPA. The organization appears primarily as a fraternal and non-political body committed to international camaraderie among serving retired police officers. No enforcement powers. The IPA functions as a friendship, political labeling, and abuse in Turkey. While not a general criticism of the global IPA, the Turkish branch faced severe repression. The government branded its membership as a criminal act, accusing members of espionage without evidence. This led to expulsion of the IPA Turkey branch and arrest and conviction of several members on dubious charges. So what's the big deal here, man? You got me on the side tangent here. All right, right on. There, we looked into it. All right, so let's watch some of this, and of course I'll be pausing it as it goes along because this is a political podcast, and this is the politics right here of why cops think they can do whatever they feel like to you. This is the political end. This is the courtroom. This is what goes on in the courtroom. That's a good question. Why were they a Freeman's ordeal. I worked a final tour for Kiss and Aerosmith in 03. That's pretty awesome. I don't like Kiss at all, but I can't even think of one good song of Kiss's. I want to rock and roll all night and party every day. Is that even Kiss? Kiss, 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 kiss. All right, here we go.
Are there any Douglas County policies on de-escalation?
Oh, this is a spoiler. I don't want you to see this yet.
Man, so you take the next step up.
Oh boy, yeah, this guy's so dumb.
Following any
Actions
to interfere on.
And
All right.
welcome back to the Random Patriot, where we expose bad government and hold them.
By the way, Random Patriot, I believe he's also going to show up to Audapalooza this year. I sure hope he does, man. I'd love to meet a lot of people, and maybe if Audapalooza can keep going every year, we could turn it into something political where we could nominate people from wherever, like maybe we can get some constitutional freedom-minded people into office, because it seems like that's our next step is we need to fill these positions all these tyrants hold with freedom-minded individuals.
Them accountable. And today we get to watch the trial of a wrongful arrest that went viral. And it is a good one. The wrongful arrest happened last year by Deputy Holdridge, and I covered it on this channel just last April. And now we get to watch the judge tell it like it is. But first, let's all get caught up and watch.
That's a good idea, Ion Margate. Let me put that in my notes.
A little recap. Check it out. Today's story comes out of Douglas County, Nevada, and it's about a man named Mike and his son Damien and Damien's friend Jonathan, who were all up late working on a hot rod in Mike's shop when tyrant Deputy Holdridge drives by and he decides he's going to unlawfully detain them. Well, this family knows their rights and they don't take shit from tyrants. Damien did a great job at editing this video. He edited together the different...
Hey, Ion Margate, please text me that so I can screenshot it and then figure it out later. Thank you, because that's a great idea.
Body camera videos and added text and voiceovers from him and his father to help explain the story. I also added my edits for time and clarity, but I will leave a link to Damien's full video below. Let's jump in.
Before we get into this main video, it's important everyone knows our story. Dad has a 1940 bag Chevy panel van that we've all been restoring for about 2 years. We occasionally stay overnight to get more progress while also saving gas. Around 9 p.m., Jonathan and I head out to Dad's car to gather our cots using the same path we always take. As soon as we get to the sidewalk,
Is this too fast, too slow? Yeah, so these guys are all American, quintessential boys. They're helping their father. They're working in a shop. And, you know, they're in this building down here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. Can you see my cursor?
checked our
Cursor. So they're walking over here to get something out of their car. And you just have some Gestapo around here who doesn't have a freedom mindset. He has an Israeli army trained mindset of the RAPIST mentality. That's what he has. I'm sorry. That's how they act. That's how government acts towards you. Like it or not, that's just real.
cross, seeing a black truck just turning off of Highway 395. Knowing there's enough distance, we cross, but by the time we get to the other side, this truck is already passing us and noticeably slows down and then stops. The truck begins backing up and turning towards us. I already figured he was a cop before he puts his blinding spotlight in our face. He starts with the "How are you?" and this is where it all begins.
So yeah, there you go. Like, he's seen them do what? He's seen them walk over to a car, park their car, or it was parked funny, whatever, and they're getting stuff out of this car. In this cop's mind, there must be a crime afoot. Can't just be two dudes hanging out with their own car. Like, it could be a million different things going on, but in a cop's mind, a crime is afoot immediately, because he needs to look good. He needs something to get into. He's bored. You can only watch so much porn on the clock, right? Most of their job is just doing nothing, honestly. So they have to get into situations and put themselves into situations and literally create situations where there are none in order to feel like their job is justified or whatever. I don't understand why they need to do this. Okay? And when you hear the lawyers, my God, the lawyers that are protecting this guy, it's like, dude, you're sick, bro.
Good. What are you guys doing?
What do you say? Just what? What do you guys, hello, what are you guys doing after he's blaring that spotlight at him? Again, it's dark. He's putting himself in this situation. No one forced him to put himself in this situation. He's putting his own life in danger, approaching two guys he doesn't know in the middle of the night. Who've done what exactly? So far, they've walked to a car and are taking stuff out of a car. That's all they're doing.
Good. What are you guys doing?
Just looking to find something. See, I don't know if this is what they said to him or if they're saying that he's just looking to find something. We already know that's what he's doing.
Is this your vehicle?
Father?
It's my father's, and he shows them the keys. You guys see that, right?
Father?
Here's my father's, here's the keys. It's my father's, here's the keys.
Do you guys have your IDs on you?
Oh, wait. So again, this cop and most cops are still stuck in decades ago policing where they say show ID and you have to. Cops still believe that when they verbalize, give me your ID, that you must surrender your right to privacy right there and then. They still believe that. Most cops still believe that when they say show me your ID, just the fact that they're a cop and they're asking you to prove who you are, they believe that they have the right to your ID. And if you don't give it to them, they have the right to take your life. This is the mentality cops run around with. He's asking them to surrender their right to privacy for what reason? Because first of all, he could care less about anyone's privacy. He's a cop. He gets to do whatever he wants. He has qualified immunity. And he doesn't think it's a big deal to ask an American who he swore to protect to relinquish their right to privacy because he doesn't even understand that basic concept. Illegal aliens understand that concept more than the cops who are hired to preserve, protect, and defend our right to privacy. So he shouldn't be asking them for ID. He's got no evidence of anything. He's asking them for ID to prove what? Again, are they innocent until proven guilty? Or does he have to build a case? So what he's doing right now is trying to say that they need to prove that they own that car. No, they don't. You need to prove that they don't own the car, that they are doing something illegal. And proving it doesn't mean they surrender their rights to you. And if they don't surrender their rights to you, you get to get violent with them. That's not how law works.
No.
So they say no. What does it say? Not at all. Off public sidewalk on the private property. I don't understand what that is.
Not at all?
Tell us what we did wrong?
Can you tell us what we did wrong?
Yeah, you're in a business area.
Oh, what you did wrong is you're in a business area. Can you tell us what we did wrong? Yeah, you're in a business area. So you're going to find this throughout this whole thing is all this cop knows how to do is cop-splain. In other words, he's going to cop-splain why he gets to do everything he does, even though it's against the law. So can you tell us what we did wrong? Yeah, you're in a business area. What else you got? So that's not anything. That's nothing. We're in a business area. So what? And it's all closed. And I don't know, this is your dad's vehicle. So where's the crime that you get to? There's no crime. They told you it's their dad's car. They showed you the keys. You have no evidence at all to the contrary. But here we go.
And it's all closed, and I don't know this is your dad's vehicle. Actually, why don't you have a seat?
Oh, so now you get to sit like you get to be and now I've considered you less than human, and I need to put you, another man, another human being, down on the ground like an Israeli does to a Palestinian. This is a part of their dominate and control everything because they need to go home at night, not because they care about anyone's freedom at all. Literally, this is such an expose of cop culture right here. They're doing nothing wrong. They're doing nothing illegal. He's the aggressor. He's the one that's going to commit all the crimes. He's the one that's going to commit all the violence. He's going to be the one who's the figurative rapist. But then he's going to blame his victims, just like Fahey blamed his victim, Sean. Just like the Groton Police Department arrested Sean. They came and arrested the victim. These guys are a victim of this cop, and his backup shows up, and they arrest the victim of this cop. These guys are victims. That's reality.
Have a seat right here. Have a seat.
Oh, I don't listen to you.
No, I don't listen to you. Shows them the keys again.
Have a seat.
So now he's trying to say, and you're going to hear in the court case, that the guy on the right is complying. The guy on the right's not complying. All he did was move to the back of this Honda Civic and stand there. He's not sitting, so he's not complying either.
318, can I get a second? You have a seat right here.
Don't touch me.
So now he's aggressing harder. Now it's time for him to get violent because this guy believes he's a free American and not an animal.
Have a bucket.
Don't touch it.
So now he's attacking this guy. He has no right to attack this guy. And in my opinion, and I'm sure the founding fathers would agree with me, this guy should be able to use equal or greater force to defend himself from this aggressing RAPIST cop with the IDF mentality. Why does he get to get violent with him? Because he did what? Because he didn't sit down like a dog and surrender his right to privacy that the cops swore to protect? What are we talking about here? Like, how is this even a thing? This cop goes to jail. This cop should be in jail. This cop is a criminal. Everything he's done so far has been criminal. And then he got violent on top of it. The cop here is a criminal, not his victims. Brian Faggy is a criminal, not Sean Paul Reyes.
Ten.
Guys,
the fuck up on me. Get him off. I said get on the ground.
I said get on the
ground. All right.
There's a cop on me. Get him off. You're joking me.
Jonathan, record this shit.
He did what? Because
I said get on the ground. I don't know what you're doing.
What did I do wrong?
On the ground right now.
What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Is your camera on?
Yeah, it's on.
Here comes Dad. Hey, what's going on here? Why did you attack my son? Good question, Dad.
Stay right there.
Oh, stay right there. We do what we want. We're Israel. I mean, American police. Same thing. We do what we want, and you're not allowed to criticize either one. American cops, you're not allowed to criticize. That foreign country in the Middle East, you're not allowed to criticize. Who that country trains our police officers. Do you see the correlation here? They're untouchable. They're the chosen ones. You're the slave. You're the peon. And if you still think you're a free American, you're wrong. Anyone who still walks around thinking that I'm American, I'm a free person, no, you're not. You're not. Look what the government can do to you, and then blame you for it.
Off of me! Ah, motherfucker!
Now he's making it worse. Now he's applying pressure for what reason? He's already got him pinned to the ground for no reason.
On the ground.
Why?
Because I said.
Now he's telling the dad to get on the ground because I said. Like, what, dude? This is where everyone in that neighborhood should come out with their firearm and defend this family. This is what a true America would be. Everyone comes out their house with a holstered firearm and says, why do you have that guy on the ground? Get him up off the ground. He's not doing anything to you. If Americans were really Americans, this is what would happen. This stuff could never happen in a free America.
911.
What did we do wrong?
Yeah,
I told you what.
I told you what. You were in a business area. That's what you did wrong. You were in a business area at night.
What's the charge? Get the f*** off me!
Did you take an oath to the Constitution? Because I did. I'm just wondering that. Like, I'm a veteran.
Am I under arrest? Tell me, am I under arrest?
You're being detained.
For what? Detained for what?
For what?
We're allowed to be here.
I don't know that.
We're working on it.
If you don't know they're allowed to be there, that means you don't know that they're not allowed to be there. Like, there you go. That should be it. Case closed right there. Arrest the cop for assault right there.
I don't.
That's my car.
Hey, I don't know this is your car.
Then why are you assaulting people if you don't know? Sounds like you didn't do any police work.
You look like somebody was breaking into your car.
It looked like somebody was breaking into your car with the keys they showed you twice and told you it was their car, it was their dad's, and you have no information otherwise to say that it's not, other than, I don't know. If I don't know something, that means I get to get violent. I gotta go home at night. Not you.
I did.
No probable cause? No investigation? Just put him down?
Just gonna straight jump on me, huh? Real gang member, huh? Real.
That's what he is. They're gang members. They act just like thug gang members. This is not legitimate by any means.
Big man, huh?
Have the shop behind Douglas Radiator.
The f off of me. I don't know that. Who's the
I don't know that, so I have to get violent.
No probable cause.
I do.
No, you don't.
Over what? Say it. Say your legal probable cause. Your legal probable cause.
They have keys to the car.
The third time showing him the keys. Showed him twice before he attacked, by the way. They just can't deal with the fact that that when they approach a scene, that once whatever their BS reason was for approaching the scene is proven wrong, they can't just say, oh, my bad. No, they have to aggress on you. RAPIST, IDF trained scum.
I asked him his name. He didn't want to give it to me.
He doesn't have to give you his name, you stupid ass. Who told you that? What law is that?
You don't have to, man. This is America.
I don't know that.
No. God, these cops are so stupid. Just wait till you hear him in court.
Put him in handcuffs. Him? Yeah, this guy right here.
Over what? Over what? What'd I do?
You won the plate already?
So now you know it's his car. Why are you still going on with the aggression? Now you know. They told you. They showed you the keys. Now the dad's out there. He told you. Now you definitely know. And you have no reason to think otherwise, do you? But you're going to continue on with the RAPIST mentality.
I haven't run anything. I just drove by and I saw two guys go to the back door. So I caught.
I just rolled up and saw two guys going in the car.
Contacted him and he was cooperative. Asked him what his name was. He told me to fuck off.
No, neither one of them were cooperative. Neither one told you their name. Neither one told you to F off. You're lying. They lie on camera. This is how you know the courts are corrupt too.
Well, you didn't see a crime. You didn't see a crime yet.
I did. Yes.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. It's my car.
I don't know that.
If you don't know that, then you don't know that it's stolen. So you have no reasonable articulable suspicion at all. You have no facts, nothing. If you don't know that, then you're wrong. Then you shouldn't be there. You should be attacking people. You shouldn't be asking them to surrender their rights if you don't know that. Every time you say, I don't know that, you're literally making the case for us, you dumbass.
You want to be a fucking tough guy?
My hands are right here. Go ahead.
Put your hand.
There we go. Now the dad's being too loud for them, so they have to restrain them too. They're scared cowards, just like the Israeli army. Same thing. Overwhelming violence because they're scared of their own shadows.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, because we're going to get through all this. And by the way, I have a CCW.
You have a gun on
fucking side of me. So don't fight. Oh, now you're going to come.
Look, they're so scared. Oh my God, y'all! These guys have free speech and firearms. What do these guys think they are? Free Americans? My goodness!
Don't grab my fingers. Stop it. Hey, put your hand back here.
What do you want? You told me
Like they're ratcheting his arms on purpose because they're stupid.
tapping my fingers.
We're going to detain you. We're going to detain you.
He's doing the same shit he did to my son.
Got him.
Douglas County, Nevada.
You feel safer now?
Where's the gun?
On the fucking right side.
I got it.
Now I've disarmed this man. I've not only disarmed him by binding his arms behind his back, but I also took away his self-defense. And again, if this was a true free country, these cops these guys would be able to defend themselves with their firearms.
I got a gun here.
Exactly. I got a gun. The way you say it, like, so what? This is America, dude. Move back to 1930s Germany where you came from. Go to Israel. Go there. They love this type of stuff. 80% of their population loves when the army does this to Palestinians like you're doing to us. They love it. Well, then again, most of Americans love cops that do this to people. And most of Americans support Israel. Wow. The correlation is crazy.
Catch it. I'm relaxed. I'm just holding you here for now because you're acting up. Okay?
You already came
Acting up. How dare you use your free speech? Acting up. That's, again, more BS.
over here twisting me up and playing the same bullshit you
No,
did
I
with
wasn't
my
twisting up.
son, you tyrant.
I wasn't doing that, you tyrant.
No, yeah, I'm the tyrant.
Yeah, you are.
As my kid calls me screaming on the ground.
I did.
You're ignorant.
Well, I just got on scene trying to find out what's going on.
I just got here.
You're acting up.
Donut operator sayings right there. Just every donut operator buzzword propaganda. I just got here. I don't know what happened.
Like this, okay?
Yeah, because you're way past your
I just got on scene trying to find out what's going on, and you're acting up like this, okay?
yeah, because you're way past your point. You know you stepped out.
Like I said, you are detained for now.
Yeah, I know.
For what crime? Speaking?
For no reason.
So he's detained and disarmed for speaking. His son is detained, assaulted, and arrested for not surrendering his Fourth Amendment right on demand.
No probable cause.
Yes, there is.
What, for me yelling? I have no First Amendment? Huh, tyrant?
You can talk, but when you're acting like this, it gives...
You can talk, but not so the way that it hurts my feelings. You can talk as long as it doesn't hurt my feelings. You got to understand, I'm the king around here. You're the peasant. You can talk as long as it doesn't hurt my little ears. Here's your donut operators. Here's your frauditor trolls. Here's your audit the audits. There they are.
For our safety.
Our safety. There we go. Another donut operator talking point. Propaganda copsplaining.
You say nothing. I never gave you any probable cause for any of this.
Oh, there goes that. That's not. Hey, is this car open? So
someone said he watched too much YouTube. Right. You've been trained by the Israeli army, and you're worried about an American knowing his rights that you swore to defend, and you're making fun of an American who believes he's free. You're not watching enough YouTube. You've been watching 1930s reels remastered. You probably have the whole collection. Oh, get him. Oh, Adolf, you're the man, Adolf. Probably masturbates to World War II train videos.
Oh, we can stuff him in there?
This kid was on the tire. I said, hey, come have a seat. He's like, I don't need to listen to you.
I never heard him say that. And even if he did say that, it's true. He doesn't need to listen to you. He's not breaking any laws. You have no jurisdiction. You have no probable cause. You have no articulable, reasonable suspicion. Wait till you hear the excuses he uses in court, and just they start repeating them. And the more they repeat them, the dumber they sound.
So I slammed him on the ground. Yeah.
So I don't have to listen to you, so I slammed him on the ground. Again, this stuff alone right here, this cop should be in jail.
Dad came over and was yelling at me. So I'm taking him for obstructing. I'm going to take him for obstructing too.
Obstructing. Obstructing what, you idiot? Obstructing what? Your false investigation?
All right. Are you going to listen to me?
I don't know.
So if I'm a cop, I am. I'm driving by. Your car's right there. I see two guys getting in the back door. I contact them to see if they're... Would you shut the f*** up?
Oh. Dude, why don't you shut up forever? Why don't you off yourself? That's what you should do.
Please.
This is a pig, bro. Again, this is the same thing as him saying, it was dark, you were wearing a mini skirt, you're beautiful. What'd you expect me to do? Oh, you're complaining that I RAPE'd you? Just shut the F up and let me explain why I RAPE'd you. It's the same damn thing.
Try to explain where I'm coming from.
You're coming from the Israeli army training school. You're coming from the RAPIST mentality. We know where you're coming from. You're disgusting. You don't believe in freedom. You don't even know what it is.
I got it.
I don't know that's your car.
All I had to do was light him up and ask him.
I did.
And stay right
I
here.
did.
I did. And what they say, they showed you the keys and said it was my dad's car, didn't they? Stupid. Didn't they? But that wasn't good enough for you, because then you don't get to exercise your power that you desperately need and want to fulfill your life.
Him call his
That
father.
kid that's on the ground right there sat down like I asked,
No, he didn't.
because I'm trying to figure out what's going
No, he didn't.
on.
He's a veteran. Of course he's going to be a little bit more
The other
compliant.
kid told me to fuck off.
So what? So the other kid exercised his rights that you swore to protect. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's that make me think?
It makes you think that you don't have a backbone and you can't take verbal criticism and you can't obey your oath to the Constitution. It makes me think that you're a coward. You're a coward that can't handle speech. You're a typical pig coward that can't handle speech. What do you mean? What does that make me think? It should make you think that this guy knows his rights and maybe I shouldn't be encroaching on him and his freedom.
Does that make it think
Does it
that's
make
your car?
you any reason?
That make me think it's your car? How about the fact that they showed you the keys 3 times and said it was his dad's car? I mean, does that make you think it's their car? Like, this guy thinks you need to pull out the title and show him a video of you signing the contract you bought the car, and you need to match your ID. No, that's not how it works, bro. We don't prove ourselves innocent.
Slam him on the ground.
I asked him to have a seat.
Yeah.
I asked him to have a seat, and since I have the RAPIST mentality, if he doesn't do it, now I get to get violent with him. Don't you understand that? You think we honor our oath around here? No, we get violent immediately if you don't do what we say. Law, Constitution, oath, that doesn't matter. You do what I say. Period. Laws be damned. Freedom be damned.
I don't know if he's breaking into your car.
Unlawful, you know what unlawful order is? Especially when you don't have probable cause.
That is probable cause.
No, it's not. And then he calls his father a dumb F.
You fucking
Oh my God, this guy's sick.
dumb.
So after watching my son get tortured and then 55 feet away being arrested for running my mouth, the officer turned off his camera and drove back to the station while texting and driving, where I was stripped of the company logo sweater and stripped down to the in-house skivvies, where I waited in a room until the sergeant we demanded for on scene, which he lied and said we didn't. So
they asked for a sergeant on scene, and then the cop lies and says they didn't request him. Another lie, because that's all they do is lie and RAPE people and violate people. That's what they do. It's their job. What good has this cop done for anybody? He's getting paid taxpayer money to not solve crimes, to bother innocent people, to spend even more taxpayer money to take it to court. Think how many people that could have fed. Think about how many starving Palestinians that money could have fed that was wasted on this pig's ego.
I need you to step out, and I need to get you dressed, give you your money, and give you your gun back, and drive you back to where I interrupted and said what you're seeing. He says he f***ed up with me, but then he has to kick my son down the road. So then he charges my son with felony obstruction.
Felony obstruction for being attacked by the cop. The cop attacked the guy and then charged him. The cop attacked and victimized this guy's son and then charged his own victim with a felony, just like they did with Sean. Everything's backwards in this country right now.
And a felony resisting, and drives us back to, again, like
felony resisting because he dared to defend himself from being attacked by this IDF trained cop.
Like I said, they're seen.
So while Dad is paying for the extortion price for my freedom, I'm over getting fingerprinted and my picture taken. And when I say extortion, I mean the desk officer was charging me with felony resisting and obstructing an officer, which later came out in the paperwork to be misdemeanors, and then resisting was magically dropped.
So they trumped him up as much as they can, and then it became downgraded to a misdemeanor, and then one of the charges was dropped. So they're hoping and praying that this one charge will stick. It's all garbage. This isn't what happens in a free country.
After paying, it also doesn't seem like they know how to fill out proper paperwork. After Dad and I get dropped off by the sergeant, we go to set up our cot and try to get some rest. The next day, we both go to Carson Valley Medical Center to get checked out. We tell them exactly what happened. While we're in the hospital room, Dad gets a call from the captain saying if I wouldn't have said F you, everything would have been fine.
So the captain tells Dad, I didn't catch this the first time I saw it. So the captain tells his dad if he didn't verbally hurt the officer's feeling, none of this would ever happen. And when I say they have the RAPIST mentality, if you wouldn't have wore that skirt and you didn't walk by me and you weren't so beautiful, I wouldn't have had to have done that to you. You see how that works? Cops have the RAPIST mentality. Period. Point blank. They will dominate you. And if you don't accept their domination and go along with their domination, they blame you. Just like they did with Sean. Just like Israel does with Palestine. And what the things they do to Gazans, it's always their fault. Even though Israel's been illegally occupying Palestine since 1948. These cops have been illegally occupying our streets for a long damn time. Like, I remember cops in the 90s, like, you didn't even have to carry your ID around. They would just say, "What's your name?" And you would tell them your name. Now they've become full Israeli over here.
Given a wrist brace, and I'm told I'm young and spry and get over it, though it's been a year and my wrist's still in pain. On March 12th, we hired
get over your injury that was caused by this cop.
An attorney for $2,500. On March 18th, 2024, my first court date, and I see a public pretender. Her or the judge was unaware of my case, so court was pushed to a later date. April 15th, 2024, Dad attempts to file an officer complaint. April 22nd, 2024, we had a follow-up meeting with Sergeant J. Lenz, where he stated Deputy Tyree Holdridge is an exemplary police officer.
His sergeant believes that the cop who did all this, committed all these crimes against his family, is an exemplary police officer. In other words, Holdridge believes the cop who attacked his family and tried to ruin their lives is an example for all other cops. That's what his sergeant believes. But it's just a few bad apples, right? No. It's not just a few bad apples, people. It's the majority of cops. This is how they think.
And didn't see excessive force. Then continued wasting.
You didn't see excessive force. Did you miss the part where he attacked him and threw him on the ground for doing nothing illegal? Maybe you missed that part, Sergeant. Again, they don't live in reality, dude. And I hate to keep pausing this, but we're not.
Our time enforcing their cover-up. June 21st, 2024, after Deputy Holdridge lied in court and my attorney just skimming by with de-escalation policy, the judge said this isn't Russia and acquitted my case.
This is State against Damien, number 24, CR 181. Can you guys enter your appearances, please?
Phil Murphy. Now, this judge actually does the right thing, but he still pisses me off because you'll see why. On behalf of the state.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Stevie DeSombre with Joy Gilbert Law on behalf of the defendant, David, who does appear in person.
Thank you, Ms. DeSombre. Parties ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
Your Honor.
Either party wish to invoke the rule of exclusion?
No.
Your Honor, the defense would invoke the rule of exclusion.
Okay, the rule of exclusion's been invoked. What that means is that if you're here to testify in this case, then you can be inside the courtroom when you're testifying and not otherwise. And you can't discuss your testimony among yourselves or with anyone else except the lawyers in the case. So who's your first witness, Mr. Murphy?
Deputy Tyree Holdridge.
Okay. Deputy Woolridge, I'm sorry, did either one of you wish to make an opening statement?
I'll make a very brief opening statement if you want, Your Honor.
Do you want me to excuse the witness while he does that? Does it matter?
It does not matter to the defense.
Okay.
I'm just going to briefly reiterate the criminal complaint. Mr. is charged with obstructing a public officer on or about March 6, 2024. Deputy Tyree was on patrol in the
obstructing a public officer from attacking him.
Industrial Park of Douglas County. He came upon a car that was on a curb with items being taken out of the car. He went to investigate to see if there was any criminal activity afoot.
He went to see if there was any criminal activity afoot. And he didn't find any, did he? Instead, he committed crimes himself. This is the guy defending the cop, and this guy's such an imbecile.
Mr. Refused. Yes, Mr. Sit down. Refused. And
He refused to provide ID because he doesn't have to. He refused to sit down because he doesn't have to by law. So what this a lawyer saying is the guy stood up on his constitutional rights. And this is his prosecuting. I'm prosecuting saying this guy stood on his rights. What the hell? Doesn't he know that guy's a cop? He can't just stand on his constitutional rights that the cop swore to protect. What are we talking about here? Why my closed captioning get small again? I'm old. I need it. I need it big. I need it big.
Mr. Did obstruct Deputy Tyree's or deputy's investigation as to whether any
no
criminal activity was afoot. So that's
okay. All right. You want to raise your right hand? Do you swear under penalty of perjury the testimony you're about to give is true?
Yes.
Okay, have a seat up here. Tell me your name and spell your last name.
Tyree Holdridge. It's HOL.
Scumbag, pig, RAPIST, Israeli trained piece of garbage.
DRIDGE.
With the RAPIST mentality, ready to lie on the stand.
Thank you.
I wore my costume because it makes me look like I'm better than you.
Deputy Holdridge, how are you currently employed?
I'm employed by the
An Israeli trained tyrant.
Douglas County Sheriff's Office and assigned to the Patrol Division.
And were you on patrol on March 6, 2024?
Yes, I was.
And where were you on patrol?
I was on patrol in Douglas County in the middle of town.
Okay. And on March 6th of 2024.
Smoking guns. I agree with that, man. I think the lawyer that was actually defending him could have done so much better. I think I could have done better. That's easy for me to say over here in my comfortable air conditioned office and all that stuff. That's easy for me to say, sure.
Did an incident happen that brings you to court today?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Start at the beginning and tell us where you were, and then we'll take it from there.
On March 6th, at about approximately 23 hours, I was patrolling the industrial area of Southgate Drive and Pep Circle. I observed what appeared to be two males opening the back door of a blue Honda vehicle.
So far, so good. No crime. Okay.
And did the two males taking things out of the vehicle arouse your suspicion in any way?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yes, it did, because it's dark, they're males, and they're taking stuff out of a car. Duh. There's got to be some type of crime afoot.
And
there's no other explanation for that.
And as part of your duties as a law enforcement officer with Douglas County, do you patrol the industrial park and look for any criminal activity that might be afoot?
Yes, I do.
Okay, please proceed.
I observed two males that were dressed in dark clothing pulling items out of the back of the vehicle.
Dark clothing means what? Again, this is cop-splaining. Dark clothing means nothing. Okay. Pulling items out of a vehicle, that means nothing. So wearing dark clothing, not illegal. Pulling things out of a car, not illegal.
I made because of the area and that
because of the area. So cop explanation number 3, dark clothes, pulling things out of a car, and because of the area. This is another cop explaining trick. The certain area BS. It's nonsense.
Usually operational during business hours. I made contact with the two males to see if that vehicle belonged to those two subjects.
And they told you, yes, here's the keys. It's my dad's car, and they showed you the keys. Okay. Where's the issue?
Or if they were actually attempting to burglarize the vehicle.
So what did you do when you get out of the vehicle?
I contacted the two males and asked what they were doing. They told me not to worry about it.
As well, it's really none of your business, and you shouldn't be worried about it.
I asked them to present their identification.
So you asked them to surrender their. This is where I'd be. This is where I would be if I was the guy's defense lawyer. What gave you the right to have them surrender their Fourth Amendment? Do they have a Fourth Amendment right to privacy? Did you swear to uphold that right? Do you understand that when you ask someone for their ID, You're asking them to surrender their right to privacy. You do understand that, right, Officer Holdridge?
To see if the vehicle was actually theirs, because that's
so what he's saying here is I'm asking them to prove themselves innocent to me. Think about that. That's completely the reverse of how law's supposed to be.
they had said, because I was in a dark
night, dark clothes, parked funny. He uses a series of lawful activity to explain why he gets to attack them.
Unlit area where there should be nobody.
Why should there be nobody? Where do you get, like, where does he get this? Objection! Why should there be nobody there? Because you don't think there should be anybody there? The guy has a shop there. And then you heard him in the video, I don't know that. How about you ask instead of start demanding shit? How about you act like a real cop? A real cop would say, hey guys, what's going on? Oh, it's your dad's car? What are you guys up to, man? Just working tonight? Yeah? Cool. You mind if I talk to Pops? Where's the shop at? We don't want to answer questions. Okay, no problem. Back up, stay safe, start investigating since they're not cooperating. But the cops think an investigation means you get to use violence and force against somebody until they comply with you. RAPIST mentality.
I requested both the two males to sit on the.
You did not request. You told them they need to sit down like dogs. It wasn't a request, and it was backed by violence. Lie.
Curb, so I could figure out what was going on to see if that was their vehicle.
Sit on the. Now I get to impede your freedom, force you to sit down on the ground like an animal until I figure out what's going on here. No, that's not police work. I'm an imbecile who doesn't know how to do anything properly. Incompetent asshole.
Or their dad's vehicle.
They showed you the keys. You had no RAS to believe it wasn't their car. You had nothing.
One person complied, the other person did not.
One person did not comply. He did not sit down. Again, another lie.
I asked him for his identification. He told me I didn't need it.
That's right. You don't need it because he wasn't committing a crime. So you don't have no right to it. And you couldn't articulate a crime that he was committing.
He began fidgeting in his pocket.
That's another lie. The guy was as still as could be. He took out his phone and made a phone call. You guys saw it. He's lying in court right now.
And pulled out his phone. I asked him to sit on the curb and he told me he didn't need to.
That's right. He doesn't need to. Why would he need to do that? Why would any American need to sit on the curb for you? Who are you? You would never say that to a man if you weren't wearing that stupid costume. You would never go up to another man and say, sit down on the curb if you weren't wearing that stupid costume, had your Israeli training and the RAPIST mentality.
He began reaching in his pocket.
Yeah, good. They put lie. Lie, lie, lie. He is. It's all lies.
Again, so I grabbed him because I did not know if he had any weapons. It was dark. I was by myself. And I didn't have.
It was dark. I was by myself. They were parked funny. Dark clothing. They were committing several acts of lawful activity. That's why I had to get violent.
Any backup with me?
I didn't have any backup with me. Again, you put yourself in that situation. You put yourself in an unsafe situation in the dark, two males, outnumbered. You did that all to yourself, and now you're blaming your victims for it. Everything you caused, you're blaming your victims for. You should be in jail. And anyone who says you're an exemplary officer, they should be in jail because you're criminals.
Went to grab his wrist and he began to pull away, so I took him to the.
Oh, so I went to attack him, which is an assault, because he didn't do anything wrong, and the guy resisted. He should have been able to resist with equal or greater force up until unaliving. Because he didn't do anything wrong. You have no right to put your hands on him, you pig.
Now I move for the admission of State's Exhibit 1.
Is there an objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
What are you guys doing? That's fine so far.
Your vehicle?
Yes, it's my dad's. Here's the keys. Are we required to even have an ID, much less on me? You mean a driver's license? Why would I need that if I'm on foot? Technically, the only place your driver's license should be is in your car. Why else would you need that? It's called a driver's license, right? So if it's in your visor, that's exactly where it should be. Now they've turned it into a full, complete slave card. Now they've turned it into the real ID too, also. And I'm going to make tomorrow's video on my main channel about the real ID and when I went through the airport in New Jersey. Thank you, Jimmy the Drunk Man. I appreciate that. I'm not even that angry tonight.
Yeah, you're in a business area.
Well, did I do something wrong? You're in a business area. Oh, that's what I did wrong? I'm in a business area where my father has a shop and we're working? I didn't know that was illegal. Like, how do you, and he's sitting there watching himself. Like, do you really believe this is legitimate, what you're doing here? You're an idiot.
Yeah, it's all closed. I don't know if this is your dad's vehicle. Actually, why don't you have a seat?
Actually, why don't you have a seat? Dude, this cop's lucky to be alive, honestly. He really is.
Have a seat right here. Have a seat. All right, listen. Have a seat.
Keys again. See, now remember, he said the other guy complied. No, he didn't. All he did was move over. He didn't comply. And the other guy isn't doing anything wrong. He's peaceful, standing still. And then the cop decided to attack him. That's an assault by an armed pig.
Okay, so that's
the prosecuting attorney decides to stop the video right before he attacks the man. And mind you, there's no jury here either. Guys, don't ever just let this. They got lucky here, but don't ever let a judge decide instead of picking a jury. Get the jury every time. Hopefully you can find one juror, because all you need is one juror that thinks like us with the freedom mentality. And there's going to be more and more people. You see them. They learn from us. They understand that they don't have to ID on demand. These guys probably know from watching us. They even were accused of watching too much YouTube. They're accused of knowing too much. That's what the cops are saying.
Have a very quick conversation about what's happening here. So there's a person on the right hand of the screen. Is that the person that's in compliance?
Yes.
No, he's not in compliance. He didn't sit down. Another lie.
Okay. Is there a person on the left hand of the screen?
Yes.
Okay. And were you able to later identify that person?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Do you see that person sitting in court today?
Yes, I do.
Would you please identify where they're sitting in an article of clothing that they're sitting?
That's a good idea, smoking guns.
They're sitting next to the defense attorney wearing a black shirt.
Okay. Now let's talk about why you asked these two people to have a seat. What was the purpose of asking them to have a seat?
I don't know. At the time of the night.
I don't know. It was dark. Oh, it was dark. Oh.
Where they're at. I don't know if they have weapons on them. They're both wearing dark clothing covering.
Oh, see, Dean. Denmic 725. I flew from Florida back to Nevada. Since I did not have my real ID, I got pulled aside and my hand scanned for bomb material, like my ID differs from having a bomb or not. I'll publish that video tomorrow, guys.
All their pockets, their waistbands. It's unknown if they are actually committing a burglary or not. It's unknown if they had any weapons. So for my safety, because I didn't have any other backup with me, I requested they sit on the ground until identified.
You didn't request anything. You demanded, and then you attacked the man. Again, this is like the judge or anybody with some common sense would say, what are you talking about, dude? They were doing nothing wrong, and you attacked them. Why do they have to sit down like animals? You're not a king. You're not a dictator. You're not Saddam Hussein or Benjamin Netanyahu. They don't just do what you tell them.
So I can conduct if that was their vehicle or not.
Okay.
So I can conduct if that was their vehicle. This guy can't even form sentences. He knows what he did was wrong. And then him and his lawyer are playing this game like we didn't all see what happened here. You caused this problem. You put yourself in this situation. And then when they told you who they were and whose the car was, that wasn't enough for you because you guys always have to exaggerate and escalate everything into a crime. Because you're criminals yourselves.
So what was your rationale for going hands-on with Mr.
The fact that he was fidgeting in his left pocket.
Lie.
He was wearing dark clothing.
Lie. Dark clothing. Dark. Fidgeting. Lie. Going in your pockets. Not illegal. Dark clothing. Doesn't matter.
Wasn't obeying commands.
Obeying commands. Unlawful commands. We don't have to obey you, dummy. You have to obey your oath. We don't have to obey you. Again, the RAPIST mentality.
I don't know if he has a weapon. There's two of them. There's one.
You have a weapon. If you're scared and they outnumber you and you don't know if they have weapons and you're scared, call back up first. You stupid pig.
Me. So I wanted to be in control at least of one of them.
I wanted to be in control. That's the only honest thing you've said so far. I want to be in control. That's the most honest thing he said so far. That's the only truthful thing he said so far, that he wants to be in control.
Okay. What was the purpose of asking those people for the identification?
To confirm if they were the registered vehicles of the owner, or if they...
Do you believe that they're not? And if so, articulate the reason why, and then we'll go from there. You have you have nothing. You have nothing. You literally have zero evidence that they did anything wrong. Only you are the criminal in this situation.
They have the same last name as the registered owner on the vehicle.
Okay, so you attempted to investigate.
Yes.
But Mr.
No, you didn't attempt to investigate.
Mr. interfered or obstructed your ability to do that investigation.
Bull crap.
Yes.
And then you gave him a...
Yeah, I go on jury duty, but they never accept me for some reason, especially if I wear my constitutional freedom fighter t-shirt to jury duty. They'll never take me. If you ever want to get out of jury duty, go to my Etsy store, buy the constitutional freedom fighter t-shirt, wear it to jury duty. They will never pick you because you believe in the Constitution. And they understand that almost everything they do in those courts is unconstitutional. So if you, a constitutional freedom fighter, are on the jury, they're not going to pick you. But if you ever do get on a jury and stuff like this, make sure you nullify jury nullification. You nullify the law itself. As a juror in this country, you get to not only decide the facts of the case at hand, but the law itself. Remember that, people, if you're ever on a jury.
A man to sit on the ground. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did he refuse to do so?
Yes.
And at that point, he was pitching in his pocket, so he decided to go hands-on?
Yes.
And was that an officer safety call?
Yes.
Okay. And why did you make the decision to put him in handcuffs?
Because I had one other person that was still behind the vehicle.
Okay. So was he under arrest for anything, or was he being detained?
He was being detained.
Detained for what crime? Oh, then he restarts the video after the attack. Isn't he slick?
Because I said.
Because I said. I'm sorry I keep pausing it, man. As a matter of fact, should I go to the bathroom? Nah, I got to watch some of this.
What if it's wrong?
Oh, yeah. Abstract Echo makes a good point. If you even mention jury nullification, you will never get called for jury duty again. That's probably right. I wish that was true, because since I moved to Florida, I've been called for jury duty like 5-6 times.
I told you what. What's the floor? Get the home, you're hurting me.
See, I'd want a jury to see this, not just this stupid-ass judge. Even though this judge makes the right decision, you're going to see that it hurts him that he has to do the right thing here. This judge did not want to make the correct ruling here, and he's upset that he had to make the correct ruling here.
Am I under arrest? Tell me, am I under arrest? You're being detained. Over what? Over what? Pathetic. I hope you lose your job over this. Seriously.
So just to rehash before I let you go, were you investigating suspicious circumstances?
Yes, I was.
Is it part of your job to investigate suspicious circumstances?
Mr. Murphy, this.
What? Yeah. Were you investigating suspicious circumstances? Well, investigate. Forcing someone to surrender their right to privacy is not investigating. That's violating. That's different.
This is the third time you've been through this. It's not necessary.
Yeah, the judge is even like, you keep reiterating this BS as if there's a jury here. There's no jury.
Trial to the
court. Then I will pass the witness.
Here comes awesome public defender here. I swear to God, I think I could go cold off the street. Never going to law school. I could be full of crap right here, but I believe just the way I sit here right now, with my limited knowledge on law, that I could go into a courtroom and defend most people better than your typical public defender. I really believe that.
Morning. You stated to the state that at the time of this incident at 9:30 in the evening, partially why you approached the situation was because of the fear of what happens at night. Is that correct? Or the fear of not having backup at night?
It was dark.
I don't get your question.
You don't get. How many times did you say it was dark? Dark clothing. It was dark at night. You kept using that when you were cop-splaining. Now you don't understand her question. What does it being dark have anything to do with anything?
What is the importance of this event occurring at night as far as how you then approach your investigation?
Why I stopped in contact with them?
No, that's not what she asked you at all. She's saying, what's the significance of you repetitively saying that it was dark?
Do you have any different policies on how you approach an investigation, whether it is daylight or at nighttime?
No, I do not.
So it doesn't matter if it's dark or light out, is what you just said.
So there was no additional danger because this was occurring at night?
There was.
There is additional danger because it's dark out. But you don't approach it any different if it's light or dark out. But just because it's dark out, there's more danger.
So how do you approach that additional danger?
You spotlight them and you control the subjects.
There's no other way to mitigate the dangers of darkness except to spotlight them and use Israeli force, overwhelming force tactics on people. There's no other way to mitigate your safety concerns except that. That's the only way. That goes back to the saying, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Like, this cop is a meathead, to put it lightly.
At what point do you consider that an investigation becomes more dangerous because of lack of daylight? Is it as soon as it becomes dark? Is it at 1 a.m.? Is it at midnight?
There's a lot of circumstances.
Can you elaborate on that?
The time of day, the area they were in. There's two people. They're wearing dark clothing.
Listen to this series of lawful things.
They're wearing dark clothing that's covering their waists and their hands.
That's nothing. You're literally just saying stupidity. Why don't you say they're white too? They're white. You know white people are crazy. They're wearing clothing. You know, if they wore the right clothing, again, RAPIST mentality. You were wearing a mini skirt, your boobs are showing, you had them all propped up. They were wearing dark clothing. It was covering their waistband. If they were wearing bright white clothing and I could see their waistbands, everything would have been fine. Again, that's a direct correlation to the RAPIST mentality.
And you said this occurred approximately at 9:30.
Yes.
There's still a significant amount of people out and about at 9:30. Is that correct?
Not in this area.
Not in this area. 9:30. Tumbleweeds. This area has tumbleweeds after 9:30. No one's allowed to be here because this is where I patrol and I watch TikTok porn. How dare you defy my request, I mean command, for you to sit down like a dog after 9:30 when it's dark and I can't see your waist? Tumbleweeds.
In this industrial area.
No, there's not.
But typically people are still awake at 9:30. This isn't like it's 1 a.m.
Not in this area. There's not.
There's no people awake in this area at 9:30 p.m. Like, bro, you sound so damn stupid. What she's trying to say to you, you moron, is it's 9:30 at night. It's not that late. It's not typically a time where everybody's sleeping. Usually people are in bed after 10, after 11, after midnight. The later in the night it goes, the less likely there are to be people out and about. 9:30 is still fairly early, is what she's trying to convey to you, you stupid Israeli trained meathead with the RAPIST mentality.
I wasn't asking about the area. People are typically still awake and conducting their day-to-day lives at 9:30, correct?
Yes.
Oh, you finally understand. Oh, you knew what she was saying the whole time, you pig.
How familiar are you with this particular industrial area?
Very, very, very.
Very, very, very. I'm so aware of it that I didn't know the guy had 2 shops and 2 sons that work there sometimes. That's how aware I am of it. That's how aware I am. I sit here for hours on end watching videos. Not training videos, not videos on the Constitution, not how can I obey my oath better and be a better human being to the people who pay my wages. No, 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 no. This is where I chill. And if I got these guys running around here, they might see me doing nothing, taking my little naps back here. Can't have that. I know this area very well. This is where I chill. And I don't need guys just running around here and watching me do that, okay?
Are you familiar with Douglas Radiator?
Yes, I am.
Are you familiar with their business hours?
Yes.
Are you familiar that they work there outside of the scope of 8 to 5?
They usually don't.
Oh, they usually don't. So that's what he's saying there. He's admitting, yes, he knows that they do sometimes, but they usually don't. So he knows that sometimes there's people working there after 5. And he knows the owner of Douglas Radiator. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that people could be there after hours working, which is exactly what they were doing.
And how are you familiar with their business areas?
Because I'm friends with the owner.
Friends with the owner. Isn't the owner the guy they put in handcuffs and took his gun off of him?
When you approach the subjects, do you recall one of the subjects presenting car keys?
No, I do not.
No. I was hyper-focused on dominating. I needed to dominate. So what if they showed me the keys to the car 3 times?
And we previously reviewed your body cam footage already in court.
Yes.
If we reviewed the footage, would you recall if either of the subjects presented car keys?
Wash their hands, I guess so.
I didn't wash their hands. But I thought you were scared for your life and it was dark and they had dark clothes on. And nobody's in that area at night. Plus the area, it's an industrial area. So isn't there people's hands usually what they use to hurt cops? Now you weren't looking at their hands. How about the fact that they not only they jangle the keys for you, presented them to you, also told you that it's their dad's car. Did you miss all that too? Because you were hyper focused on initiating your IDF policy of domination, right?
You guys ever got these on you? No. Not at all? Yeah, you're.
This is the same body cam we reviewed earlier, correct?
Yes.
Do you now see one of the subjects holding up a pair of keys to
Yes.
approach the vehicle?
Also, now you see the keys. So they explained to you and showed you the keys and said that it was my dad's car. And you decided to attack them anyway, right, officer? Right? I wish I was doing the questioning, man. I really do sometimes.
Did you see those keys at that time?
No, I did not.
Are you blind? Are you visually impaired?
Did you recall either of the subjects stating that it was their vehicle?
They stated at it, but if you look at the vehicle, it's not parked in a regular parking spot.
Oh, so now he just admitted that they did state it was their vehicle. Now he's moving the goalpost saying, if you look at the vehicle, it's not parked correctly. What does that have to do with it being stolen? Were you there to enforce parking? No. Now you look like a moron. Now you're deflecting.
Well, it's parked halfway on the street. It could have been stolen. They could have had the keys.
It could have been a nuclear weapon too, but And if my mom had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. That's not how it works, dummy.
And how did you determine that it could have been stolen?
Parked in a weird area.
Parked in a weird area means it's probably stolen in this incompetent moron's mind.
People ditch cars in industrial areas.
Ditch cars. They showed you the keys. They said it was theirs, and they were pulling stuff out of there. It wasn't ditched. This is just cop-splaining. It's so tiring that people fall for this still. Like, this is a scumbag criminal right here. And I guarantee you, he's still a cop. He didn't learn anything from this. You think this is going to prevent him from going hands-on ever again? This guy's going to end up unaliving somebody, and he's going to get qualified immunity, and then he's going to retire like Brian Faggy, who's committed several felonies against Sean now, and get to live off American taxpayer money for the rest of their lives. Like, these people are held up as if they're gods, and you're just there to lose your life for their cause.
Did you see them prior to them being at the car?
No, I did not.
I don't believe that either.
Did you take any additional action to ask them about the keys or
Nope.
about their ownership of the car?
I didn't even see the keys.
Why didn't you see the keys?
Did you ask them any additional questions about their car? Or their
Not
ownership
after
of the car?
Mr. became uncooperative.
Oh, you mean you didn't ask anything at all after "Is this your car?" except let me force you to surrender your right to privacy. He went from "Is this your car?" They said, "Yes, here's the keys. It's my dad's." Then it was immediately surrender your Fourth Amendment right to privacy. This is where the lawyer should have been like, if we look at the body cam, you said, "Is this your car?" You see they showed you the keys and said it's my dad's, right? And then you never asked another question about who owns the car, right, officer? You went directly to surrender your right to privacy. Isn't that correct, officer? Instead of asking clarifying questions, you immediately went to, now I need you to surrender your right to privacy. Isn't that right, officer? That's where I would have went with this.
Is there any way you could have identified their legitimacy to the car outside of an identification?
If they would have provided their identity.
That's not what she asked. Listen to this question and listen to how he answers. He answers with the RAPIST mentality. Real quick.
Their legitimacy to the car outside of an identification.
So could you have figured out if it was their car without forcing them to surrender their Fourth Amendment right to you, is what she's asking.
If they would have provided their identification.
If they would have just surrendered their right to me.
Is there any additional?
The only way he could have figured out if that was their car and was not a stolen car was for them to surrender their rights to him. That's how he goes about his job.
Way you could have.
There's I could have.
And how would that be?
They could have complied.
Oh, again, they could have complied with my unlawful demands, surrendered their rights to privacy, and sat on the ground like an animal. That's the only way this cop could figure out if the car was stolen or not stolen. God, I wish I was cross-examining this cop.
Is there no other investigation you could have taken to establish legitimacy of the ownership?
Once they become uncooperative.
Once they become uncooperative? They were very cooperative. Is this your car? Yes, it's my dad's. Here's the keys. Then you ask them. Then you ask them to surrender their rights. And then when they don't surrender their rights, you say they're uncooperative because you have the RAPIST mentality. Think about it. Hey, how you doing? I'm fine. You very beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. I'd like to make love to you. Oh, no, thank you. Why are you being uncooperative? Now you know I have to do to you, right? RAPIST mentality. It's the same exact thing.
Became an officer safety issue.
Oh, there it is. Officer safety. RAPIST safety. The aggressor safety. The criminal. He's the criminal who committed the crime. His safety paramounts their safety somehow in his mind.
I'm not going to walk back to my car and turn my back to two people.
You don't have to turn your back. You can walk backwards. You can get back to your car. You can get to a safe location and you can do an investigation without forcing yourself on somebody like a RAPIST.
They're wearing dark clothing in a
Dark clothing, dark cops plane, unlit cops plane, industrial area. No one's out after 9:30. Cops plane.
But at this point, what is your reasonable suspicion that a crime is occurring at this?
That they're breaking into a vehicle.
Based on what? Did they break a window? Did they have a crowbar? Did you see them break in anything? No. You just wanted some action.
What is the reasonable suspicion for you to have made the determination that they're breaking into a vehicle?
Good question.
That it's a dark, unlit.
Dark, unlit, two guys, dark clothing. I couldn't see their waistband.
Business area.
The
car is parked.
Car's parked.
On a parking spot.
Not in a park. Oh my God, dude. Dude, you found the two biggest criminals in your county, dude. My God. I hope this guy gets an award, man. Here, bro. Here. You want my award? You can have my award from Audipalooza. There you go.
Parked halfway on the sidewalk. They're not answering any
Wait.
court.
Parked halfway on the sidewalk. So they show in the picture. It looks like one tire is touching the sidewalk. It looks like they tried to scooch their car up onto the private property as much as they could. And one little tire on the back bumper in a business area where no one's moving about. They probably thought it'd be safe to park there. Never thought that some RAPIST mentality pig would use that little tire on the sidewalk as justification to say this car's stolen. Because only morons live in fantasy world like that.
Not in a parking spot. Parked halfway on the sidewalk. They're not answering any questions.
They don't have to answer your questions, dummy. Who told you they have to?
They're wearing dark clothing.
Dark clothes. My God, this is like you were wearing a mini skirt. Your boobs were out. I hadn't had any action in 2, 3, 5 months. I'm sick of doing it myself. So I have to aggress on you. You understand, right?
And they're in a business area where there's no people.
Lie. Business area. Cops plane. Like the only thing that could possibly be going on is what this moron fantasizes in his head. This is your typical cop right here, too, by the way. And then his sergeant says he's exemplary. In other words, he's an example for other cops. This pig right here, this moron, meathead.
Do you recall what date this occurred?
Yes.
What is that?
March 6th.
And that is typically a cold time of year, right?
Yes.
Typically a time when people wear sweatshirts.
Yes.
Was there anything out of the ordinary that they were wearing sweatshirts?
I was wearing a short sleeve then.
I mean, I was wearing short sleeves. And if I can wear short sleeves, they should wear short sleeves. Officer safety.
It wasn't that cold.
But it's early March, and it's typically cold at night.
Yes.
It hurt him so much to admit that it gets cold at night in March in Nevada.
So you determine, based upon dark business area, people approaching a car that's reasonable suspicion to then identify an investigation of a burglarized car.
No, it's not.
Yes.
No. How, again, the way you can even hear the inflection, the way he says yes is like, now that you put it that way, I have to say yes, even though I don't want to, because I'm a disgusting, incompetent pig.
So do you approach people in any dark business parking lot regarding burglarizing a car?
Yes, I do.
Any person that is in a dark parking lot.
Yes, I do.
At night.
That's my job.
So you do this to everybody. So you violate lots of people and you're admitting it. And you believe it's your job to approach and violate people and bark orders that they don't have to follow. Man, I wish I was this guy's attorney.
How often are those cars burglarized?
A
You
lot.
approach a person.
Frequently.
Can you give a percentage?
You can go to our records and get reports.
Can you ballpark it?
I don't know.
I don't know. I just say dark, business, 2135. I use military time because it's cool. They were wearing long sleeves. There was 2 of them. They were males. The car was halfway on the sidewalk. What don't you understand?
When you approach a subject who is not burglarizing a car and is merely in a after-hours business parking lot, are they typically happy about it?
Mr. Denicola says, can you imagine what a civil attorney is going to do to this cop in depositions? John Denicola, did you watch this yet? Because this judge is going to piss you off. John, you don't have the special bar number to be in their club. If you don't have a bar number, then apparently you can't understand law. Yeah, that's BS too.
Compliance?
Yeah, 100% of the time.
Oh.
Are they typically happy about
Listen to this.
Hours business parking lot? Are they typically happy about compliance?
So she's asking, when you approach all these other people in dark parking lots, are they typically happy about complying with you? And this cop has the nerve to say every single time he approaches someone in a dark parking lot and asks them a bunch of questions and detains them and aggresses on them, that they love it every single time, 100% of the time.
Yeah, 100% of the time.
Well, not 100% because here we are.
Every time I've contacted somebody, they are more than willing to comply to show that it is their vehicle that they're not breaking into.
And there it is, people. Americans don't understand that cops are there to hurt them. They're not there to protect you. They very rarely solve any real crime. There's over 100,000 unsolved RAPESs and unalivings in this country. But you got morons like this bugging people nonstop. Instead of solving crimes, they pay this moron way too much money to go around harassing people who are working. And he believes that when he harasses somebody, they should be 100% happy about complying with his demands that are not lawful to begin with. Like, everything is backwards.
I mean, look at that subject compared to the other subject.
Subject compared to the other subject. So look at the guy who still wasn't obedient. He just moved over a little bit. Look at this subject compared to the other one. That subject also asked you if you swore an oath to the Constitution. That subject knows that he doesn't want to be violated. And the other subject was willing to take your abuse to expose you to the world. You're not doing yourself any favors here, dummy.
Complied, he sat down. He wasn't.
You did not sit down, liar.
Arrested.
So the other one obeyed my unlawful commands and directives, so I didn't put him in a cage. Again, RAPIST mentality. Since he did what I wanted, I didn't have to get violent with him. Imagine if that's how they dated women. If you do what I say, I won't have to get violent and just take it from you. Comply. Just comply. You should be happy that I'm offering you sex. Just comply with me.
This subject didn't comply with verbal commands, and he
doesn't have to.
He was arrested.
And he was arrested. He doesn't have to comply with you, moron. He didn't break any laws. What is it you don't understand? We don't have to comply with everything you say, you imbecile. Who told you that? You know, eventually that's going to lead to your head exploding. You understand that, right? That's where all this is heading. You keep pushing, and that's where all this is going to end up. And you can sit there and say, oh my God, look what they did to us. If you were doing it first, again, the Israeli training right there. Israel does whatever it wants to all the countries, all the way around it, all over the Middle East. And if you dare say anything that Israel shouldn't be doing all these things, you're an anti-Semite. You're a cop hater. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're a soft-sit. If you don't defend the aggressor, the RAPIST, then you're a frauditor.
Did you conduct any further investigation into the ownership of the car following this body cam?
I did after my partners arrived on scene.
And what did
After my partners came and did some more attacking.
you determine?
That the vehicle belonged to the father.
It wasn't stolen.
No, it was not.
It was not burglarized.
No, it was not.
Was my client trespassing?
I don't know.
Were you able to determine was he trespassing?
He was not. Later it was. He was not trespassing.
So he was not trespassing. So they weren't doing anything wrong at all. ever. Nor could you prove they were doing anything at all, ever, which makes you the only person who committed a crime that night. You're the only person who committed a crime that night.
But at the time, I did not know that.
Do some police work and figure it out. They don't have to do your job for you under threat and duress, you moron.
Is it safe to say that outside of this charge that we're here on today, that on March 6th of 2024, that my client was not engaged in any unlawful conduct?
Yes. If he would have complied, it would have been a 2.
If he would have just, if the girl just made love to me, I wouldn't have had to take her by force. Every time you hear a cop say, if they would just comply, it's the same thing as a RAPIST saying, if she would have just complied with me, I wouldn't have to take her by force. It's the same thing. She doesn't have to comply with her RAPIST, and we don't have to comply with you when we're not doing anything wrong. Do you understand that yet? Or is it going to take some exploding heads for you guys to figure that out?
2-minute contact.
That's not what I asked. Thank you.
Sorry. Let me go back to that.
That my client was not engaged in any unlawful conduct?
Yes. If he would have complied, it would have been a 2-minute contact.
That's not what
If he would have complied, if she would have just gave me the sex, it would have been 30 seconds. I would have got what I wanted, the action I needed. It's the same thing, people. They act just like RAPISTs.
I asked. Thank you. Are there any Douglas County policies on de-escalation?
This is great. Are there any Douglas County policies on de-escalation? This is the question she asks him right now is, what are the policies where you work, where you de-escalate the situation instead of making it worse, getting aggressive and getting violent? You go the other way. You de-escalate. Wait till you hear his answer.
Yes.
What are those policies?
If a person doesn't verbally listen to verbal commands, you take the next step up above.
What does that mean?
He didn't verbally comply, so I went hands-on.
So his de-escalation means if he doesn't do what I say, I escalate even further. That's what he doesn't even understand what the word de-escalation means. All he knows is escalate, 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 escalate. And this is how cops are trained, everybody.
And that's the policy of Douglas County.
Yes.
That you go hands-on following any refusal.
Yes. You always stay one step up above what the subject's actions are.
And that's considered Douglas County's de-escalation policy.
Yes.
Dude, like, bro, you're an embarrassment to your family. Like, do you have a mother and father? If you were my son and this lawyer asks you, what's your de-escalation policy? And you respond with, I escalate with violence. I get violent. My de-escalation policy is to get violent if somebody doesn't do exactly what I want. And you wonder why cops have 2 to 4 times the national rate of domestic violence rate. 2 to 4 times the net, double to quadruple the domestic violence rate in their own personal homes. Because that's all they know. This is your typical cop. And that's why cops have 2 to 4 times the national domestic violence rate of the rest of the country. And that's who's drawn to jobs like this. People who like to escalate and get violent.
Are you familiar with the word de-escalation?
Yes.
So you are testifying that escalating a situation is Douglas County's de-escalation policy?
The time of day, the time.
That's not time of day. Here we go. Back to now. He's got to go back to a script. It was dark. Time of day. Dark clothing. Couldn't see their waistline. Mini skirt. Boobs are showing. She was hot. I hadn't had any action in a while. She just asked you if what you just described, which is escalation, is your department's de-escalation policy. And now you're going to cop-splain.
A situation is Douglas County's de-escalation policy?
The time of day, the time of night, what they were wearing, and how he was fidgeting. It became an officer safety issue if he had any weapons. So I detained him.
That's not what she asked you. I see. This is where I'd be like, I didn't ask you any of that. That's not what I asked you. Did you hear a different question than what I asked you? I asked you if what you just described is the de-escalation policy for your department. And you just went back into your cops-plaining script.
I'm not going to sit there and de-escalate and have him pull a gun out.
Oh, I'm not going to sit there and de-escalate. So now he knows what de-escalate means. So I'm not going to de-escalate a situation. I'm going to dominate with overwhelming force, put my own life in danger, other people's lives in danger. That's my de-escalation policy. Go Israel.
And shoot me.
Why would he shoot you, you moron? Why would he shoot you? And again, if you didn't put yourself in that situation, how could anybody shoot you? They showed you the keys. They said it was their car. Outside of that, you had no reason to think otherwise. You had no evidence to say otherwise, to think that.
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
Okay. Any redirect?
Just very briefly. A question was posed to you about when you make contact with people, potentially in parking lots, after hours, in the dark. Are those people generally appreciative that you're making sure that their cars aren't getting busted into?
Yes, they are.
Oh, yeah, people love me, man. They're like, oh, damn, thank God, officer. I was just in this parking lot minding my own business, and I sure was hoping that you would pull up so I could lick your boots. Like, this lawyer's an idiot, dude. Nobody likes being contacted by cops. Everybody gets on edge when they're contacted by cops, especially when it's dark, especially when there isn't a lot of witnesses around, especially when the visibility is low. Like, these two are jerking each other off. We all know it's BS.
Thank you for testimony. I pass the witness.
No follow-up, Your Honor.
Can the witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor, and not subject to recall.
Okay, you're excused. Thank you.
Pig. I would have been so much harder on that pig. Disgusting pig with that mentality. He's got the R mentality.
Do you have any witnesses or
We do, Your Honor.
evidence?
We have one witness.
Okay.
Would you like me to call him now? It would be Jonathan Hollingsworth, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Hollingsworth. You want to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear under penalty of perjury the testimony you're about to give is true?
It's true, Your Honor.
I'll take a quick break, guys. Keep watching.
You want to tell me your name and spell your last name, please?
My name is Jonathan Hollingsworth.
Were you at Douglas Radiator on March 6th of 2024?
Yes.
What were you doing at Douglas Radiator on March 6th?
I was working on a car.
Were you there all day?
I was there
So this is the guy that was there working with him. All right, I'm going to go pee.
till about 11 o'clock at night.
And were you with Mr. on that day?
Yes.
What was the plan after you guys completed working on the car?
The plan was to go to the car and grab the bedding because there was a loft in the shop. And that's where we would stay until we could work in the morning.
In relation to the car you were working on in the shop that you were working at, where was the car that had your belongings?
It was across the street from the building that we were at. It was at the other building. There was two buildings.
And was it still parked within the general parking area of
It was
Douglas
on.
Radiator?
It was on Douglas Radiator property.
So you have the keys to the car when you approached the car, correct?
Yes.
Did at any point in time did you attempt to present the keys to the law enforcement officer?
I showed him the keys.
Were you surprised by law enforcement's presence?
Yes.
Was there any reason to believe that you needed law enforcement assistance?
No.
Did you believe that you were participating in any sort of criminal act?
No.
Were you caught off guard by law enforcement investigating the car?
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Murphy,
I don't have any questions on this witness.
you can step down. Can he be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're excused, Mr. Hollingsworth. Thank you for coming in. Do you have anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. I'll hear closing remarks.
Thank you, Your Honor. So on the evening of March 6, 2024, Deputy Holbrook was on patrol with routinely checking the industrial park, make sure no criminal activity was afoot. He, as the video shows very clearly, it's completely undebatable, is he was patrolling. He saw a car parked in a weird way. It wasn't parked in a parking stall. It was parked on the side of the street with part of it hanging into the gravel where the sidewalk is. So he did what he is paid to do. He started an investigation. Here we are in the industrial park. It's dark out. Most of the businesses are closed. And here are two people rummaging through a vehicle that's not properly parked. He developed a reason.
Whoa, 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 what did I miss? Hold on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's doing what he got paid to do, huh? He's doing what he got paid to do, huh, pig? Cop-splaining lawyer here. Sorry, guys. Let me go back a little.
It wasn't parking up.
Do you have anything else?
No.
You can step down. Can he be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're
Did I miss anything good?
excused, Mr. Hollingsworth. Thank you for coming in. Do you have anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. I'll hear closing remarks.
Thank you, Your Honor. So on the evening of March 6, 2024, Deputy Holbrook was on patrol with routinely checking the industrial park, make sure no criminal activity was afoot. He, as the video shows very clearly, it's completely undebatable, is he was patrolling. He saw a car parked in a weird way. It wasn't parked in a parking stall. It was,
oh my God,
parked on the side of the street with part,
which means nothing at all,
of it hanging into the gravel where the sidewalk is. So he did what he is paid to do.
No, he's paid to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and people's civil rights. That's what he's paid to do. Not patrol and bother people who aren't doing anything wrong. So, objection, that's not what he's paid to do.
He started an investigation. Here we are.
Start an investigation is fine. Is that your car? Yeah, here's the keys. That's my dad's car. End of investigation. Unless you have articulable facts to the contrary.
In the industrial park, it's dark out. Most of the businesses are closed. And here are two people rummaging through a vehicle.
Rummaging? A buzzword used to say they're getting their belongings out from a vehicle.
That's not properly parked. He developed a reasonable suspicion that there may be criminal activity afoot.
Based on what? Dark? Car's not parked right? They're getting things out of the car? They have the keys to the car. They show them the keys to the car. They say it's their car. They don't flee. Like he's just lawyer-splaining for the cop right now.
So he parked his vehicle in a way that he could try and see what was going on. He was in his law enforcement vehicle. So this is a readily identifiable police vehicle.
So?
And when we asked about what he was wearing, he said that he was wearing his county uniform similar to what he's wearing.
Right,
now.
I was here.
Okay.
Yeah, and so what? And another thing is anyone can make a police car look like a police car, and anyone can buy a police uniform online. That doesn't mean anything. He was never acting like a cop. He was never acting like an oath taker, an oath upholder. So he was a fake cop the whole time.
And so he was unmistakably a law enforcement officer. He tried to do an investigation.
No, he didn't. Again, you're lying. You're a liar. Is this your car? Yes, it's my dad's. Here's the keys. Investigation over, dude. Unless you have some other thing to go on, which you don't. So you don't get to bark around orders around. You don't get to detain. You don't get to compel that they surrender their rights. This lawyer is disgusting.
And he asked them for their identification.
He had no right to do that.
There is always a compromise for officer safety and taking into consideration the feelings of the public.
Wait, there's a compromise to my inalienable rights? Did this lawyer just say that I need to compromise my inalienable rights that the cop swore to preserve, protect, and defend? Did this lawyer just say this in an American court of law?
When you want to see if a crime is afoot or not. Of course, you don't want to.
No, you do police work to see if a crime is afoot or not. You don't ask the person you think committed the crime to help you incriminate themselves. What law school did this guy go to?
Hassle people that are doing nothing wrong.
If you don't want to hassle people that are doing nothing wrong, maybe don't compel them to surrender their right to privacy and then attack them if they don't surrender their right to privacy and sit on the ground like an animal for you. Otherwise, you're just going around harassing people and then using officer safety as an excuse. This lawyer is incompetent.
But you also have to make sure that you're going to go home that night and that somebody's not going to pull out a weapon and kill you.
Why doesn't the citizen get to be able to go home that night? Why doesn't the citizen who's being harassed by the officer who used excessive force on him and got violent with him, why doesn't the citizen have the right to go home at night? Why doesn't the citizen have the right not to be killed by a police officer? It works both ways, you incompetent piece of crap.
So there's a compromise that has to be made.
No, there's no compromise. They swore to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. Where in that oath does it say, except for certain compromises? This lawyer is making this stuff up as he goes along. That's not law. That's not Constitution. That's nothing. That's what they want. That's not the law.
So Deputy Holbrook started his investigation. He asked him for identification.
Asking for identification is not an investigation. You're asking them to surrender their right to privacy. That's not an investigation. Objection.
Mr. Quite frankly, had an attitude. He says,
frankly, he had an attitude. So frankly, he exercised his rights that the cops swore to protect. And you're using it against him. So you're using him exercising his rights against him.
No, I'm not going to do what you tell me to do.
Because he doesn't have to. By law.
So Deputy went hands-on.
So Deputy got violent with him. Just like he does in his dating life. You don't want to make love to me? Now I have to force you. Now the lawyer has the RAPIST mentality.
It's a sticky situation.
It's not a sticky situation. Obey your oath. Be freedom-minded first. And you won't ever be in these sticky situations that you put yourself in. Your client put himself in this situation.
He did what he had to do to protect.
No, he didn't. What he had to do was obey his oath. And if he was that scared, he should have got backup beforehand. Hey, guys, there's a couple guys here. It's dark. I'm outnumbered. I want to make sure this car's not stolen. If you could come and back me up first. You don't wait till you attack somebody. As a matter of fact, when that cop attacked the kid who did nothing wrong and he pinned him on the ground, what was stopping the other kid and the father from coming and unaliving that guy? Other than their own ability to hold back. You're safe because we let you be safe. You're going to understand this one day. We're letting you do these things. And I can't wait for the day where Americans are like, no, you're not doing this to us anymore. We're going to stop you from doing this one way or another. Do you understand? Or do we have to make it crystal clear for you the hard way? You could do this one of two ways. You want to put it in cop speak? We could do this one or two ways. You understand that we're the free people and you're the servant. Or we can go the hard way. What's it going to be?
Himself.
Protect himself from what? The situation he created?
As the deputy testified, it was dark and he could not tell if they had any.
Well, we're not debating whether reasonable force or not. What we're debating really is reasonable suspicion to interfere with their
and it was excessive force. Interfere with their
liberty
with their liberty. Finally, the judge speaks something common, but the judge is going to piss you off too here in a second.
Asking for identification, correct?
Well, there are two cases that associate that. One is the Heibel case from the United States Supreme Court that stated that if an officer or law enforcement has reasonable suspicion that a crime exists, then that person is obligated to identify themselves.
Yeah, except he didn't have that. Being dark, wearing clothes, parked off the thing, going into a car, nighttime, 9:30, None of that is reasonable suspicion. None of it. So whatever case you just said is garbage. I think you said Hybel versus 6th District, by the way.
And that's been codified in the Nevada Revised Statute, which I call the Hybel Statute, which states that if an officer has reasonable suspicion.
If he has reasonable suspicion, he never had reasonable suspicion. And if he had it at all, it was dispelled the second they said, here's the keys, it's my dad's car. He had nothing. He had nothing.
We determine that there is criminal activity, then that person is required to identify
Okay,
themselves.
I understand. So let me ask you something, Mr. Murphy. Do you think it supports an obstructing charge if someone declines to identify themselves? Forget about the physical restraint. Forget about the time of day. If a person declines to identify themselves in that circumstance, does that constitute the crime of obstructing?
It does, Your Honor.
It does not. Only if they have to identify themselves, does it become obstruction. The only time you have to ID is if you're suspected of an actual crime and there's articulable facts to support it. Dark, clothes, time of day, industrial park. None of that is reasonable, articulable suspicion that a crime is afoot. That's just cop-splaining BS. He had nothing. He had nothing, which means that not only can they decline to ID themselves, they could tell him to go F all the way off and ignore him completely. And he doesn't have the authority to do anything past that because he had nothing to begin with.
And because the United States Supreme Court has stated that if an officer has reasonable suspicion and he's investigating a crime,
didn't have that.
That person is legally obligated to identify themselves.
He didn't have RAS, nor were they committing any crime. So there goes that argument.
Nevada,
the Supreme Court case. The Supreme Court case was in the context of a motion to suppress evidence that was recovered in subsequent to that point. I'm just asking if it's obstructing to not identify yourself.
It is, Your Honor.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
So the deputy did what he could do. Mr. wasn't going to let the deputy do his job. So
his job is not to force people to surrender their rights. That's not his job. God, this lawyer is straight garbage, bro.
The deputy had to go hands-on with him.
No, he didn't have to go. The girl wouldn't make love to me, so I had to take it from her. That's what this lawyer is saying. Because those guys didn't do anything wrong. So he had to force them. Right?
So because he failed to identify himself, which he is legally obligated to.
No, he's not.
Do. And when the deputy went hands-on with him for officer safety reasons.
Officer safety reasons? What law is that?
The Mr. refused to put his hands behind his back and accept the detainment while the deputy tried to conduct his investigation after.
Accept detainment. See, the girl, she came out at night. Everybody knows that when girls are out at night, they have to give you sex, right? And then she was dressed in a miniskirt and her boobs were popping out. Everybody knows. And then when I tried to initiate the sex with her, she was being uncooperative, so I had to take it from her. It's the same thing. That's how cops think. That's how this lawyer thinks.
Fact. So based on the evidence presented, I've submitted to the court that all the elements of obstructing have been proven and asked that Mr.
BS.
That the court find Mr. guilty of the crime of obstructing.
You're a disgusting pig lawyer. Disgusting lawyer. Like, how can you defend this? Lawyers like this, people like this, is what's turned this country into straight diarrhea, bro. Look at this disgusting animal.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, I would first like to address the question that you addressed to the state regarding identification as a means of obstruction. And our argument would certainly be that identification does not fall under this NRS of 197 because there's a more reasonably applied statute at 199 of identification. The NRS has these two different crime
What's
charges.
the one in 199?
And Your Honor, I was just pulling it, the NRS on that case.
Oh yeah, Emmanuel, we're gonna get to the black robe tire in a second.
Well, I can pull it.
What was that?
Did you find it?
I was pulling it up just now. I
Hold
know
on,
it's-
everybody relax. Don't stand up when I come back. I used to be able to run the computers in this joint.
Oh, judges are horrible, man. They're the ultimate sovereigns in this country.
After hours industrial area, reasonable suspicion to initiate an investigation that would then require my client to identify himself. And that kind of takes us back again to that argument that even if identification is going to be considered an obstruction, that would have been better charged under the 199. And that under this NRS as charged, failure to identify is not going to rise to the level of obstruction or resisting.
Okay.
For resisting obstruction, the exact same thing I was arrested for. And that's why I named this channel Resisting Without Violence. That was the actual charge. Same thing they're trying to do to this guy.
Mr. Murphy.
Just very briefly, it appears that this is an argument about reasonable suspicion. So reasonable suspicion is not an incredibly high standard to satisfy all the court judge or the.
Oh, so reasonable suspicion is not an incredibly high standard to satisfy all the court. So what this lawyer is admitting now is that Terry v. Ohio, which is where reasonable suspicion of a crime came from, is not a high standard. So it used to be they had to have probable cause, aka the Fourth Amendment. And then Terry versus Ohio happened, which turned it into reasonable articulable suspicion, which this lawyer now admits is not a very high standard. So they took the inalienable right, the Fourth Amendment, where the cops needed probable cause to stop you, and they turned that on its head through a court decision, Terry v. Ohio, and turned it into RAS. And now anything they can dream up in their head becomes reasonable articulable suspicion. It's dark, closed, nighttime, industrial park, not parked properly. So all these things are legal. And somehow in the cop's head and this lawyer's head, that gives them the right to now force someone under threat to surrender their rights to privacy. Otherwise, it's resisting obstructing. You see how they destroyed our Constitution? Overturn Terry, overturn qualified immunity, overturn internal affairs. Go back to the probable cause standard. These are the things that we, the movement, need to start working on.
Officer needs is a reasonable articulable suspicion that criminal activity is afoot. It's not probable cause. It's not a hunch. So it's in between that.
No, it was a hunch. That's what it was, because he had no articulable facts that could prove that they were stealing a car. Nice try, though.
Hunches, as we all know, is not a legal standard. But as the United States Supreme Court stated in Terry, that reasonable suspicion is not a hunch. It's a little.
I was a little disturbed without both you and counsel led the witness on.
You and counsel led the witness
on these issues, Mr. Murphy. But when I heard him testify without being leading, he was saying I was trying to find out whether that something was going on.
So the cop actually admitted that he didn't even have RAS, and he was just going to step out with him just to see if everything was okay. But this lawyer led the cop to say, yeah, you had reasonable articulable suspicion, right? Right, officer?
Right.
And I know that's not only a manner of speaking, but I don't think that police officers have a right to interfere with someone's liberty to find out whether they're doing something wrong.
That's right. Holy crap, Judge. Wow. This judge actually has a little bit of freedom mind in his head.
I think they can only interfere with their liberty if they have a reasonable suspicion that something's going on.
Reasonable.
And I completely agree with you, and that is the standard. So you can't, this isn't a Cold War era Russia where it's a citizen show me your papers at random.
Well, isn't that kind of what he did?
Isn't that kind of what he did? Yeah, that's exactly what he did. Cold War Russia era, 1930s Germany, show me your papers. That's what cops are nowadays. And the judge says, well, that's exactly what they're arguing is going on here. And the judge realizes this, but then the judge says something so stupid here at the end.
Not. What he did is he was on patrol in the industrial park when most of the businesses are closed. He saw a car that was parked in a weird fashion.
Weird fashion, that means nothing.
Saw people taking things out of the
people taking things out of a car. You keep reiterating lawful activity. Oh my God.
Car, and he saw that the way they were dressed, they were covered up with their, no, they couldn't see whether they were armed.
So what do we have to wear? Crop tops so that cops feel safe? Like, what are we talking about here?
Or not. So based on those circumstances.
And if they're armed, why can't they be armed? I thought this was America where people are allowed to be armed.
Deputy Holdridge did exactly what he gets paid to do.
No, that's not what he gets paid to do. You're a disgusting pig, bro. He gets paid to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. That's what he gets paid to do.
Is he investigated those suspicious circumstances. So even, and now just hypothetically speaking, even if that car were parked in a marked stall in between two white lines, he would still be justified in investigating to make sure he saw items being removed from that vehicle at night in the industrial park where most of the businesses are closed.
Yeah, he can investigate, but he can't compel ID and control people he doesn't have jurisdiction over because he hasn't proved that they've done anything. They think investigating means you have to do what they say. Like, you're bastardizing the term investigating. Investigating means look, watch, ask a few questions. It doesn't mean do what I say or else I get violent.
It sparks suspicion to think, why are these people taking items out of a car?
Because they might own the car and they might own the items within the car. Thus, they're retrieving the items they own out of the car that they own. He has reasonable suspicion to believe that these people own a car and they have their items in a car and they're taking their own items out of the car. Why can't that be an option?
That's parked in the industrial park when it's closed. That in itself is reasonable suspicion.
No, it isn't.
Add that on top of the fact that the way the car was parked in a weird way
means nothing.
He had a duty to investigate.
Investigate's fine, but you can't compel people to force them to surrender their right to privacy, and you can't force them to sit on the ground like animals. That's where you cross the line, you stupid ass. You can't attack them when they don't obey your unlawful orders.
That is what he gets paid to do.
No, it isn't. Liar.
To make sure that the vehicle was not being burglarized.
What evidence did he have that it was? You still haven't provided that.
He did exactly what he was supposed to do.
No, he did not. You don't know what you're talking about.
This wasn't some arbitrary fascist dictatorship.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what he did. He rolled up on two guys working, minding their own business, and demanded that they do things that he wants them to do, that he didn't have the authority to do. What are you talking about? That's exactly like a fascist dictatorship. What are you talking about?
They said, search everybody and see if they're up to no good.
Well, that's what their argument is.
That's exactly what they're doing.
So, isn't it? It's that once somebody says this is our car, the inquiry is over, and I don't have to show you my ID.
That's right.
Or tell you what I'm doing.
That's right. Unless you can prove that otherwise, you need to pound sand.
And
isn't that what she argued?
That's what they're arguing, but based on the testimony.
But if he did show her the keys, if he said, "Wait, this is my car. This is we're everything's okay. It's our car." At that point, what reason is there to proceed with the investigation?
What? I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got 24 cents in my judge robe. I'm coming, stuttering. This is effing awesome.
Because based on the way the encounter went down, the way you demonstrated is the way that It wasn't testified to that happened that way. But your way is a very calm, articulable way to say, hey, this is our car. We're not breaking into anything.
That's exactly what it was. They were both calm. They said, this is our car. Here's the keys. It was very calm. The only person that wasn't calm was the stupid pig who got violent.
But that's not what happened. He testified that he did not see any keys.
Sorry that he didn't see him the 3 times they showed him the keys. And the father coming out and saying, that's my car. He was informed that it was their car many times.
He testified that he didn't hear anything.
Well, he
about this
didn't see it because he was trying to maintain control of
That's right.
the situation.
That's right.
His focus was on the individuals.
That's right.
Perhaps.
No, perhaps.
But
or else he's misremembering the situation.
But what we can't do is we can't put evidence where evidence doesn't exist. What he testified.
We didn't do that. There's video of them showing him 3 times. They were their keys, their car, plus the father also saying it was his son's, his car, they're working. So then they decided to get violent with the father also. Like, I could never be a prosecuting attorney, man. I could never, in good faith, I know this cop is a criminal. I could never prosecute in his favor. I could never do that. Prosecuting attorneys are some of the biggest scumbags in this country, dude. Like, they're right up there with judges and cops.
What Deputy Holdridge testified to is he didn't see the keys. He didn't know that anybody that anybody identified that as being their vehicle. He was there and he proceeded based on the situation and the knowledge that he obtained. Even if Mr. whose name I forget now, Hollingsworth, did jingle his keys and said, this is my car. If the deputy didn't hear it, the deputy does not have that information to process to take into consideration.
If the deputy didn't hear it, it's because he's incompetent and needs motor skill training. He didn't want to hear it. He needs to be in control. This is how cops are. They'll never take your word for anything. They have to exacerbate every situation to the point where there's violence. That's the whole problem here, is that cops are out of control. That's the whole issue. Why didn't he hear it? It's as plain as day. Here's the keys. There was a huge spotlight on them too. Here's the keys. They all said it was their car.
So the deputy proceeded exactly how he was supposed to proceed.
That's a lie. Stop. Just because you keep repeating that, you disgusting pig, doesn't make it true.
This wasn't a random stop of somebody at random.
Yes, it was. 2 random dudes working. They didn't do anything illegal.
And I think the best analysis is the United States Supreme Court did in Terry, where there.
Now we resort back to an unconstitutional court decision of Terry v. Ohio to validate the crimes this cop committed. They used Terry v. Ohio to validate their crimes against you. Terry's got to go, man.
Was a person who understood that people that are casing establishments tend to walk them back and forth, and they get together and they have a conversation. And
that was in the context of that particular case, Mr. Murphy.
True, but
they announced a rule. They gave that as an example of articulable facts, but they didn't say that you had to have that same circumstance in every case.
That's absolutely correct, but I think it's it's analogous to our case in the sense that here's an officer that's on patrol in an area that is closed and it's dark. I know I sound like a broken record.
There was a case in Reno about 40 years ago when marijuana was still a felony.
By the way, all you young people who smoke pot now, you can thank us, our generation, Gen X, for making it legal, because we were the ones that were finally fed up with it and did something about it.
And there was 2 young men passing a cigarette back and forth at Wingfield Park in downtown Reno at night. And the officer came over and did the same thing that happened here and they were both arrested for possession of marijuana. I went up to the Nevada Supreme Court and said, just because someone's passing a cigarette back and forth at night doesn't mean they're committing a crime or that there's reasonable suspicion. The reason I'm bringing that up to you now is because because somebody's unloading a car doesn't mean that there's criminal activity. So it
doesn't mean anything.
You have to get into the further circumstances.
And I agree.
But once they satisfy them, once he satisfies himself that there's no criminal activity, then there's no need to continue and maintain control.
That's correct.
That would be the case.
But wouldn't it be totally subjective?
Well, if we got to that point, but the point being is Deputy Holdridge.
I'm wondering if he got arrested because he was being a jerk.
And there it is. The cop arrested him because they didn't like that he dared to stand up for his rights. That's what most of these arrests are. Disorderly, resisting without violence. It's you dare to speak back against the person who's raping you. You'd literally, it'd be like arresting the RAPE victim for daring to try to fight off her attacker, for resisting her attacker. This is how cops operate.
Instead of because he was doing something wrong.
No,
exactly. They arrested him because they didn't like the fact that he dared to stand on his constitutional rights. The judge nails it right there. That's why he got arrested. Because he wasn't a good little slave. That's the bottom line. And the judge realizes this. But don't worry, the judge still doesn't like that he has to rule the right way.
Oh, because the deputy did testify today that if he had just shown his identification, he could have run the vehicle.
So the deputy testified that if he would have just went along with my raping, everything would have been fine. If the girl would have just gave me the sex she didn't want to give me, everything would have been fine, and I wouldn't have had to RAPE her. Do you realize how you sound?
And made sure that there was no criminal activity afoot. He would have been out of there, and I quote, 2 minutes.
So he had to, so in 2 minutes. So he had to prove it. If he would have just proved himself innocent, so the cop decided that he was guilty already, and if he would have just proved himself innocent, he would have been out of there in 2 minutes. My God. What does he think he is? An American with rights? If he would have just not stood on his rights and surrendered his rights to the cop, everything would have been fine. That's what this lawyer's saying right now.
Right.
So, it was not W. Holdridge's ambition to just hassle people.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He was.
Oh, I'm sure he wasn't trying to hassle him. I agree with you 100% on that.
And so
then why hassle them? Then why'd you do it if that wasn't your intention? Because they don't believe they're hassling you when they're asking you to surrender your rights.
Analysis I agree with you as far as just seeing somebody unload a car isn't necessarily in of itself a reasonable suspicion, but
it's nothing.
There are always circumstances surrounding that. Nothing is in a vacuum.
The circumstances are what? It's nighttime. There's no circumstance. There are two dudes getting stuff out of a car. You said what's up to them. They showed you the keys. That's it. It's over. Unless you have evidence of something else, it should be over. But your ego won't let you do that.
So just say two people unloading a car by itself, I would agree with the court that in itself is not reasonable suspicion.
So where's the rest? It was dark, industrial park. It's all, everything you say is your reasonable articulable suspicion is all legal activity. All these lawful acts gave me a reason to think there was a crime afoot.
But I don't think that can only exist in a vacuum. There are always things going on around that a human using their common sense, and especially with law enforcement training, could do an analysis and say, is this something I should be concerned about or something not? So in this, if it was somebody unloading a U-Haul and taking stuff into their house, you don't necessarily have to investigate. That's a normal thing that you would see. Somebody in a closed industrial park at night, just the way they
It wasn't closed.
were.
Well, it's
parked
not
the way it
closed.
was.
It's open to the public.
Pardon me?
It's not closed. It's open to the public. Those are public
Well, a lot of the
streets.
businesses were closed.
Okay.
Oh, let me backtrack and say a lot of the businesses were closed. Oh. Dude, when I used to own a restaurant in Frostproof, Florida, I'd have poker games in there at night sometimes. And I literally had to lock the front door because one time where I'm in there at night, next thing I look in my dining room and there's a cop in there. I'm like, what are you doing in here, dude? I'm just checking to make sure your business is okay. I go, okay, officer, everything's fine. Thank you. That means you back out of my restaurant. Everything's fine. I'm here at night. This is my restaurant. End of story.
And the way the car was parked, Deputy Holdridge was absolutely within his authority.
No, he wasn't.
And he was doing his job properly by
No, he was not. You're full of crap.
investigating.
How can you just sit there and he knows he's lying? He knows he's lying.
And Mr. West impeded or obstructed that investigation.
No, he did not.
By refusing to identify
Lie.
himself and by refusing to go into detainment once
And refusing to be manhandled. So he stood on his Fourth Amendment right to privacy, and then he resisted being attacked.
Deputy Holdridge made the determination that
Deputy Holdridge, he hasn't said his name right not one time.
detainment was necessary.
No, it wasn't necessary. That's where you're wrong. If detainment was necessary, that would mean that he has articulable facts that a crime is afoot. He didn't have those to make a detainment.
Okay. This is somewhat difficult for me, but not.
Oh, this is different. Now the judge is conflicted because he loves licking boots, but he realizes there's actually freedom in this country too.
Not too difficult. I have to tell you, I've never understood why every circumstance like this has to result in prosecution for a crime.
Because cops have fragile little insecure egos, and so do their followers, and they need to explain to you and force you to understand that no matter what they do or say, just like Israel, you have to bow down to them. They're never wrong, and you're always wrong, even if you're right. That's why, Judge, they have the RAPIST mentality. You understand that? They get to RAPEU, and if you resist and you don't like it, then they need to punish you by bringing you to court like this and putting you in jail. You understand now, Judge? These are who you're defending.
Crime. At the same time, like this has to result in prosecution for a crime. At the same time, I have to tell you.
At the same time, I have to scold the guy who was standing on his constitutional rights. You stupid. See, he can't just make the right decision. This is what the judge should say. The cop was overzealous. Just because two people are getting stuff out of a car at night is not RAS. They showed you the keys. They said it was their dad's car. You had no other evidence going forward. Asking them for ID at that point, you had no lawful reason for them to surrender their right to privacy by showing you ID. Then you got aggressive and assaulted the one guy because he wouldn't sit down on the ground like an animal. You were 100% wrong, officer. Your client was 100% wrong. Your client should go to jail. You think that's what this judge is going to say? No, he's about to scold the guy. He's about to scold the victim. That's what this judge is about to do, is scold the victim of the officer.
That the reason you're here today and the reason you got arrested is because of the way you were acting out there.
Thank you, Judge, for admitting that they prosecuted this man, falsely arrested him, caged him, battered him, and assaulted him because he stood up for his rights and used his free speech rights against the government. Thank you for admitting that, Judge.
And if you don't know that now, and if you can't hear me, I'm telling you that.
Good. Thank you, Judge. Thank you for admitting that. We all know that. Now put this officer in jail. Good. You understand what he did now. You understand that he put me through all this because he didn't like that I exercised the rights he swore to uphold. So good, Judge. I'm glad you understand that. Now you can put this officer in jail, right? Since you understand why we're here. You're the one that needs to understand it. We're very clear. We get it. They're insecure little boys who think they never do anything wrong. And if you dare exercise your rights that they swore to protect, they're going to get violent with you and throw you in a cage and run you through the system. And Judge, you just admitted it. Yet you're still going to scold me?
And if you think you're going to sue these guys, because I'm going to let you go in a minute, I'm going to find you not guilty.
Because he's not guilty.
I don't think they've proven that you are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But I can tell you this. If you think you're going to sue these guys.
If you think you're going to sue these guys, why shouldn't he sue them? They impeded on him. They tried to get him to surrender his right to privacy. When he wouldn't surrender his right to privacy and follow unlawful orders and be treated like an animal, they attacked him. Not only should they sue him, you should issue a warrant for the cop's arrest.
You got another thing coming.
You got another thing coming, Judge, you dumbass boomer. How do you make the right decision in the court case and then have the nerve to scold the victim? Again, that would be like an rapist and the judge saying, yeah, he raped you, but if you would have just gave in to him and gave him a little and satisfied his sexual urge, you wouldn't be here right now. And if you think you're going to sue him for raping you, you got another thing coming. Like, are these psychopaths or what, dude?
Because the only response, and I have a brother-in-law who acts exactly the same way you did, although.
Good. That's someone I want to hang out with. Sounds like he's a little smarter than you are, Judge.
He grew up poor and Mexican in Las Vegas, but he's got a chip on his shoulder about the cops, and the minute they talk to him, he turns into a jerk.
Good. That's how they should be treated. They should be treated like the rapists they are. Do you show respect to a guy that does things to women like that? Then why should we respect guys that do that to innocent people?
And he starts giving him lip and telling him he's not going to do this and swearing at him. And it's a wonder he hasn't been taken to the ground and thrown in jail half a dozen times.
Oh, it's a wonder we still have some freedom in this country, Judge, because your brother, because you don't like the way, again, like, listen to what you're saying. You sound like such a damn imbecile. It sounds like your brother-in-law understands what's going on, and you don't. Even though you know. You just said it yourself. You're contradicting yourself.
And if you don't, and if you keep doing that, you're going to go to jail a half a dozen more times.
If you keep exercising your rights that the cops swore to uphold, you're going to go to jail. That's what this judge just said. If you keep exercising your rights that the cops swore to protect, you're going to end up in jail a half more dozen times. That's what this imbecile judge just said.
So I'm not saying you did the right thing or that the officer did.
The guy did the right thing and the officer committed a crime, whether you want to admit it or not. You just admitted it that he arrested him because he stood on his rights. You just admitted it. Now you're going to go back and say, I'm not admitting he did something right and you did something wrong. You already admitted it.
The wrong thing. I'm saying that under constitutional standards,
What, is there a different standard in this country outside of constitutional standards, Judge?
I think he had a reasonable suspicion that
reasonable suspicion is not a constitutional standard. That's Terry versus Ohio, which is not a constitutional standard at all, Judge. Now you're showing your ignorance. The Constitution is the Fourth Amendment. That's the constitutional standard. Terry v. Ohio is not in the Constitution. Thus, it's not a constitutional standard. You're making a fool of yourself. Like, this guy's lucky the judge made the right decision.
criminal activity was afloat. And
That's not the reason. No, there's no reason to think criminal activity was afloat. You should always side on the side of freedom.
I think he had a right to approach you and ask you who you were and what you were doing.
He can ask, he can approach, and he can ask. We don't have to answer him. We don't have to surrender our rights, and we don't have to sit on the ground like animals. That's the part you're forgetting, Judge. He can ask whatever he wants. He can't demand and then get violent.
I can't find beyond a reasonable
Exactly, afloat. When I saw him say afloat, I wanted to go eat some ice cream.
doubt that you committed a crime in the way that you didn't comply with his direct
with those unlawful directives.
I can't find that.
But because he didn't do anything wrong. That's why you can't find it, because it's not there.
But I'm not going to say he did the wrong thing or
yeah, because you're a bootlicking status moron, and your job, you need these types of things to happen to justify your existence as a judge. This whole thing's a sham.
That you did the right thing, and I hope you can hear.
He did the right thing. He stood for his rights. That is the right thing. Standing on your constitutional rights is the right thing, Judge. What country are you in? Cold War era Russia? 1930s Germany? Of course he did the right thing. He stood on his rights. The cop did the wrong thing. The cop committed the crime here. And you're still sticking up for him.
Hear me. This case doesn't need to go any. Did the right thing, and I hope you can hear me. This case doesn't need to go any further.
What he's saying there is, please don't sue the cops. It does need to go further. That cop should go to jail.
I hope you learned a lesson, and
you hope the victim. I hope you, the victim, learned the lesson. You're chastising and scolding the victim of a crime. He's the victim.
Really don't care if you didn't, but
you care.
I'd hate to see this go any further.
Oh, whoa, you'd hate for there to be accountability for the actual criminal in this situation. You'd hate for the actual criminal to be held to account, wouldn't you, Judge? You're running cover for the actual criminal, Judge. You're disgusting, Judge.
Those guys are out there trying to keep people from stealing stuff.
That's a lie. That's not what they're out there doing. And they rarely, if ever, prevent any crime. Stop gaslighting. Nobody's as stupid as you. We're not as stupid as you think we are, Judge. He's judge-splaining now that the cops are out there doing something righteous. BS! The majority of them are not out there doing something righteous. Over 100,000 violent crimes go unsolved. Over 100,000 violent crimes, RAPEs and unalivings, go unsolved in this country. Meanwhile, cops are on the road stealing people's money on the side of the road and doing stuff like this. And here you are defending them. And that's why this cycle keeps perpetuating. This fascist dictatorship cycle keeps recycling because of people like you, Judge, and people like that stupid lawyer.
And there have been burglaries out there, and you know there have been. And if
so what?
If he goes out there and asks somebody what they're doing and who they are.
You can ask what they're doing. You can't demand they answer you, and you can't get violent with them if they don't. Otherwise, you become the criminal.
And they tell him, then that's the end of it.
Or he can ask them who they are, and they can tell him to F off, and that's the end of it. And that's the end of it. It could be the end of it that way, too. It's not always what the government wants.
I don't think we're turning into a fascist dictatorship because the
turning into one. We've been one for decades.
Police do that. I think that they believe that they're doing their job.
That they believe it, but their job is to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. The exact opposite of what the cop did here. The exact opposite.
One of the things I hate about our modern era, and Mr. and I both grew up at a time when this maybe wasn't so true, is the militarization of law enforcement.
Oh, So now he's going to admit again that the cops have turned into a standing army, a military on our own soil. See, there's the Posse Comitatus Act, which says that military cannot enforce law on American citizens. So instead of having the military enforce law on American citizens, they just turned the local national police into military instead, and have Israeli military train our local cops to act like a military and give them a bunch of military surplus from the wars they're fighting for Israel over there in the Middle East. You see how it all comes together, Judge?
And they feel they're under threat, and they have a good reason to, because of circumstances that occur.
Who feels like they're under threat, the cops or the citizenry? The citizens are under threat, not the cops.
And so if they ask you who you are and what you're doing, just tell them.
How about they don't ask me who I am or what I'm doing unless they have hard evidence that I'm doing something wrong? Wait until you have some real evidence. Do some real police work. And then when you know you got something, then you could come out and say, hey, I need to know who you are. I believe you're committing a crime, and have articulable facts to back it up. This judge is, again, if this judge was talking to an RAPIST, he would say to the RAPIST's victim, listen, when this RAPIST wants to RAPE you, if you would just let him do it for a minute or two, everything will be fine. That's what this judge is doing right now. Let the police RAPE you, and everything will go fine. Everything will go smoother. Don't resist your RAPIST. Stop resisting your RAPE. Stop it. And everything will go smooth.
And then you don't have to worry about coming to court and hiring.
If you just let the RAPIST RAPE you, then we could just all move on with our lives. Sure, you got RAPED'd, but you're fine. Right?
Lawyers and worrying about what's going to happen next. Anyway, you're not guilty. The bail's exonerated. And thank you both, counsel, for excellent legal work for both.
BS. Those garbage legal work on both sides. Anyway, there you go, guys. There you go. Thank all 50 of you for being here so long. Chuck, what's up, brother? Chuck Bronson, I sure hope to see you at Audapalooza this year. I don't know if I told you guys earlier if you're all still here, but I just I think I got confirmation from Bay Area Transparency. He's going to be at Audapalooza. If you want tickets to Audapalooza, johnfelix@gmail.com. I'm trying to get back to everybody. Thank you for watching Resisting Without Violence. I'm actually hungry. I can't believe I've gone for 3 hours. I've turned a 49-minute video into a 3-hour live stream. That's skill right there, buddy. In other words, I don't shut up. There we go, everybody. That was disturbing, wasn't it? All right, I'm going to go eat some meat. All right. Everybody, thanks for watching Resisting Without Violence, episode 0005. And I'll see you next Monday, hopefully. Thank you, CGL, man. I appreciate that. Everyone have a good night. Much love. Starred me. Oh, Jimmy the Drunk. Thanks, Jimmy the Drunk, for the $5. You guys want to throw me a few bucks, man? Cash App, $ John Felix. Much love, everybody. Have a good night, man. Thanks for joining me. That's it. That's all I got. I'm all run out of energy. Oh, dude. Real quick, my wife and I were watching this show about there was a unaliving of 4 girls at a yogurt shop in Austin, Texas, like back in 1982. And one of the guys who was a detective on the scene, he had the most redneck accent. He's like, "We didn't have computers back then, and we didn't have reasonable special, and we didn't have no fingerprints. We don't have no fingerprints. Dude, the way this guy was talking, I kept rewinding it and imitating it. My wife's like, all right, dude, I got it. We never have fingerprints. We didn't have no computers, and there's no internet, and we didn't have no fingerprints. Everyone have a good night, man. Much love. Bye.